Success starts with you. It begins with the choices you make right now and the way you decide to show up for yourself every single day. Becoming your best self isn't about luck or waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking clear steps that push you forward, even when it feels tough or uncertain. This journey is deeply personal, and it asks for honesty, patience, and a strong commitment to your own growth. You might feel stuck or unsure where to begin, and that's completely normal. What matters most is learning how to build habits and routines that support the person you want to become. Imagine waking up each day with a clear sense of purpose, knowing exactly what you want and how to get there. Imagine feeling confident in your choices and calm even when things don't go as planned. This isn't a story about overnight success. It's about the small actions that add up. The mindset shifts that change how you see yourself, and the discipline to keep going even when the road gets hard. We'll explore how to take responsibility for your life, create a vision that excites you, and set goals that truly matter to your heart. You'll learn how to protect your time, say no without guilt, and push through tiredness with determination. You'll discover how to be honest with yourself, let go of excuses, and eliminate habits that hold you back. We'll talk about learning new skills to boost your confidence and building connections that support your growth. Most importantly, you'll learn how to reflect on your daily actions and keep improving without ever giving up. If you're ready to stop waiting for things to change and start making real progress, this guide is for you. It's practical, down to earth, and filled with steps you can take today. This is your chance to take control, build a life you're proud of, and become the best version of yourself. Stay with me, and let's begin this journey together. Chapter 1. Take full responsibility for everything in your life. Your life doesn't change when circumstances shift or when someone hands you the right opportunity. It changes the moment you decide to take full responsibility for every part of it. This decision is the beginning of all growth. It's not about blaming yourself for everything that's happened. It's not about guilt. It's about recognizing that the direction of your life depends on the choices you make, the habits you hold, and the way you respond to everything around you. Taking responsibility means becoming the author of your own story. It means looking inward instead of pointing outward. As long as you keep waiting for something or someone else to change, you delay your own power. Most people live life passively. They go through their days reacting. If something goes wrong, they blame someone else. If something feels hard, they wait for motivation to show up. If they're not happy, they look outside themselves for solutions. This mindset feels safe, but it's a trap. It keeps you stuck. It puts your progress in the hands of the world instead of in your own hands. Taking responsibility breaks that trap. It puts you back in the driver's seat. You stop being a passenger in your own life and start becoming a deliberate, active participant. This principle is simple, but not easy. It takes courage to stop blaming your past. It takes strength to admit that no matter how unfair life has been, you still get to choose how you live from here. And that choice? That's where your power lives. You might not control what happened to you, but you control how you respond to it. You might not have created every situation you're in, but you decide what to do next. This mindset changes everything. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's possible, from waiting to building, from complaining to creating. Responsibility is not just about the big decisions. It's in the smallest daily actions. You choose whether you hit snooze or get up. You choose whether you eat for fuel or comfort. You choose whether you move your body, whether you learn something new, whether you have that hard conversation you've been avoiding. Life is built moment by moment. Each one holds the opportunity to step forward or step back. When you take full responsibility, you start noticing those moments. You stop drifting. You start acting with intention. Owning your life means owning your habits. You can't complain about your outcomes while ignoring your routines. What you do daily creates your future. If your days are filled with distraction, comfort, and avoidance, your results will show it. If your days are built on discipline, focus, and follow-through, your life will reflect that. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is not filled with luck. It's filled with consistent choices made in silence when no one is watching. It's filled with personal accountability. Taking responsibility also means being honest. You have to look at your life without filters. Look at your finances, your health, your relationships, your mental state. Ask yourself, am I doing what I need to do? Am I avoiding something I should be facing? Am I living in alignment with the person I want to become? These are hard questions, but they open the door to real change. Denial keeps you comfortable. Ownership sets you free. You can't improve what you're not willing to face. Clarity comes from honesty, and growth begins with truth. When you fully accept responsibility, excuses lose their power. You stop saying things like, "I don't have time," or "It's just the way I am." You realize that time is made through priorities. That personality is shaped through habits. That discipline is built, not born. Excuses feel easy in the short term, but they cost you progress in the long term. If you want to grow, you have to stop defending your limitations. You have to stop justifying your inaction. You have to start asking, what can I do now? What is in my control? What is my next step? No matter how small, there's a quiet strength in this mindset. You stop needing the world to be perfect for you to act. You stop needing others to believe in you before you start believing in yourself. You stop waiting for the right time and begin creating the right habits. You stop comparing and start improving. Responsibility gives you stability. When life gets chaotic, your focus stays intact because you've trained your mind to ask, what can I do, not what can I blame? This doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means you become equipped. It means you start understanding that discomfort is not your enemy. It's your teacher. That obstacles are not roadblocks. They're resistance you learn to work with. When you take responsibility, you stop looking for ease and start looking for growth. And as you grow, things change. Not because the world suddenly makes it easier for you, but because you've changed the way you show up. You've changed your posture, your energy, your decision-making. You've become someone who does the work. Action is the evidence of responsibility. You can talk about growth, read about change, watch videos on motivation, but none of it matters if you don't act. Information without application is just noise. Real transformation is built on doing. You learn more through one day of real effort than through 100 days of wishing. Every time you act, even in a small way, you reinforce your power. You remind yourself, I can, I will, I am in control of my direction. One of the most effective ways to build this mindset is to set a daily accountability practice. At the end of each day, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? Where did I avoid responsibility? What will I do differently tomorrow? These questions keep you grounded. They keep you aware. They stop you from falling into unconscious habits. They build self-awareness, which is the cornerstone of personal growth. The more aware you become, the more responsible you become. And the more responsible you become, the stronger your foundation for success. You also have to take emotional responsibility. How you feel is your responsibility, not what someone said, not how the day went, not the weather or the news. You control your emotional response. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means learning to manage them. It means feeling disappointment without shutting down, feeling anger without exploding, feeling fear without retreating. Emotional maturity is a powerful form of responsibility. It allows you to move forward without being ruled by your reactions. Taking responsibility for your mindset means curating what you allow into your mental space. Be mindful of what you consume. Be aware of who you spend time with. Your thoughts shape your choices. Your choices shape your life. If your mind is filled with negativity, doubt, and distraction, your actions will follow that tone. But if your mind is filled with clarity, discipline, and purpose, your actions reflect that too. Guard your thoughts. Train your focus. Choose what you feed your mind every single day. Sometimes the hardest area to take responsibility in is your past. But you can't grow while holding on to blame. Whether it's blaming others for what they did, or blaming yourself for what you didn't do. Holding on to blame keeps you stuck in a story. Taking responsibility doesn't mean approving of what happened. It means saying, "This happened, but I choose what happens next." It's not about rewriting history. It's about writing your next chapter with clarity and strength. The people who create meaningful change in their lives all share this mindset. They don't wait for the world to give them permission. They give it to themselves. They don't rely on perfect conditions. They build habits that thrive in imperfection. They don't chase quick fixes. They develop long-term character. And it all begins with taking full responsibility for their energy, their choices, their outcomes, and their path forward. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start small. Pick one area where you've been passive or avoidant. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your relationships. Maybe it's your work ethic. Acknowledge it. Own it. Then ask yourself, what action can I take today to move this forward? Not next week. Not after everything is perfect. Today, progress begins with presence, with showing up, with doing the work that no one else can do for you. You also need to remember that taking responsibility is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Life will test you. Distractions will show up. Doubt will whisper. But the more often you choose responsibility, the stronger it becomes. It becomes part of your identity. You become the kind of person who follows through, who doesn't need constant reminders, who doesn't crumble when things get tough. You become the leader of your own life, and from that position, everything becomes possible. Your best self isn't waiting for external change. It's waiting for internal alignment. It's waiting for you to stop looking around and start looking within. It's waiting for you to take the keys back, not to feel in control of everything, but to be in command of your direction. That's what responsibility gives you. It gives you the power to respond to life instead of being tossed around by it. That response is your creation. That response is your growth. That response is your beginning. You won't get everything right. No one does. But the goal is not perfection. The goal is ownership. The goal is to wake up each day with the mindset that says, I shape my life, I build my habits, I direct my energy, I own my future, and with that mindset, step by step, you create real, lasting change. You begin to align your actions with your values. You begin to strengthen your character. You begin to move from who you've been to who you can become. That's how success begins. That's how transformation begins. That's how your best self emerges. Not from waiting, hoping, or blaming, but from choosing, acting, and owning. Take full responsibility, not because it's easy, but because it's the only way forward that gives you real freedom and lasting fulfillment. This is the foundation. Start here. Build here. Return here whenever you feel lost. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the path to your best life, and it always begins with you. Chapter 2. Create a clear vision of who you want. Most people never become who they truly could be, because they never decide who they want to become. They drift through life, following routines they never questioned, carrying beliefs they never chose, and chasing goals that don't even belong to them. Without a clear vision, days blur into weeks, and weeks into years, until one day they wake up and wonder how they ended up where they are. You can avoid that outcome. You can choose a different direction. It starts by creating a clear, honest, and personal vision of the person you are working to become. Having a vision is not about dreaming of some perfect version of yourself that's free of flaws and problems. It's about creating an image of the life that aligns with your core values, your potential, and your purpose. When you have that image in your mind, you begin to live with clarity. You stop chasing distractions. You stop giving energy to people or tasks that don't matter. You gain the ability to make decisions with confidence because you know what fits your path and what doesn't. Clarity is power. It keeps you grounded when life feels overwhelming. It guides your choices when opportunities appear. It reminds you of what matters when distractions pull at your focus. A clear vision is more than just a motivational tool. It's a compass. Without it, you will constantly doubt yourself, compare your progress to others, or lose motivation when things feel hard. With it, even when the process is slow, you'll know where you're going and why you're doing it. To create that vision, begin by asking yourself difficult but necessary questions. Who do I want to be when no one is watching? What kind of character do I want to build? How do I want to respond to stress, failure, or uncertainty? What values do I want to live by, not just in theory, but in action? These questions require you to pause and reflect beyond surface-level desires. Most people say they want to be successful, but they haven't defined what success actually means to them. Is it financial independence, peace of mind, strong relationships, physical strength, or creative freedom? You need to define it in your own words. Once you know what kind of person you want to become, describe that person in detail, not in vague ideas, but in specific behaviors, habits, and mindsets. What time do they wake up? How do they handle setbacks? What does their environment look like? What kind of energy do they bring into a room? What kind of decisions do they make when no one else is around? Write this all down. Let it become a reference point for who you are choosing to become, not someday, but starting now. You are not creating a fantasy version of yourself. You are identifying the standard you are committed to living by. This is not about perfection. This is about alignment. Your vision should inspire you, not intimidate you. It should stretch you, not scare you. And most importantly, it should belong to you, not your parents, not society, not what looks good on paper. Your vision must come from a deep and honest place inside you. That's what gives it lasting power. Once your vision is clear, the next step is to bring it into your daily life. Don't keep it locked in a journal or saved in a file you never look at. Turn it into decisions. Let it shape how you show up each day. If the person you want to become is disciplined, then today is your training ground. If the person you want to become is kind, then now is your moment to practice patience. If the person you want to become is focused, then this hour is your test. You don't wait to be that person, you become them through daily choices. You will be tempted to fall back into your old patterns. You will feel resistance. This is natural. Your current habits are comfortable, even if they're not helpful. Creating a new identity requires effort. It requires saying no to what you used to accept. It means changing the way you speak to yourself. Instead of saying, "I've never been that type of person," you start saying, "This is who I'm becoming now." Your words matter. Your self-concept matters. Speak in a way that reflects your new direction. It's also important to regularly revisit and refine your vision. As you grow, your understanding of what matters will shift. Don't hold on to an old vision just because it's what you started with. Let it evolve. Let your values deepen. Let your clarity improve, but never move through life without one. A strong vision doesn't lock you into a single path. It gives you focus and flexibility. It keeps you moving forward with purpose, even when the details change. Discipline becomes easier when your vision is clear. You stop needing motivation every day because you're not acting out of emotion. You're acting out of identity. You're not asking yourself, "Do I feel like doing this today?" You're saying, "This is what someone like me does." That shift changes everything. You begin to align with your future. Instead of staying stuck in your past, you begin to trust yourself because your actions match your intentions. This clarity also helps you handle failure differently. When you know who you are becoming, a mistake doesn't destroy you, it teaches you. A setback doesn't break you, it redirects you. You no longer take failure personally. You see it as a necessary part of the journey. This mindset gives you resilience. You stop quitting early. You stop needing everything to go smoothly. You start showing up with consistency because you know where you're headed and what kind of person you're becoming along the way. Don't wait for permission to define your vision. Don't expect others to understand it. This is your life, your path, your responsibility. If people don't see what you're working toward, that's fine. You don't need their approval. You need your own commitment. You need to wake up each day and choose to live in alignment with your values, not for validation, but for fulfillment, because no one else is going to build your future for you. That work is yours alone. When you create a clear vision, you stop wasting energy on things that don't serve you. You stop getting pulled into distractions that take you off course. You stop needing to please everyone. You begin to live with strength, direction, and quiet confidence. You start moving differently, speaking differently, making decisions that protect your progress instead of sabotaging it. This is what it means to lead yourself, not just in public, but especially in private. The more clearly you can see who you're becoming, the more quickly you'll grow. You will start acting with intention instead of impulse. You will begin saying no with confidence instead of guilt. You will start choosing discomfort over regret. You will stop chasing quick fixes and start building long-term results. And most importantly, you will begin to trust yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you're consistent. Growth is not something that happens to you. It's something you commit to, and that commitment begins with vision. You can't hit a target you haven't defined. You can't become someone you haven't chosen, and you won't stay disciplined without a reason that means something to you. Clarity gives you that reason. It gives your work meaning. It gives your pain purpose. It gives your life structure. If you want to change your life, don't start by changing your environment, your job, or your schedule. Start by changing your vision. Get honest about who you want to be. Write it, study it, live it. That vision is the blueprint. Without it, you build without direction. With it, every choice becomes part of something meaningful. Every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to a life that feels right, not just successful, but fulfilled. You are allowed to become someone new. You are allowed to let go of past versions of yourself that no longer serve you. And you are responsible for making that shift. No one will do it for you. The clarity, the discipline, the action, it all starts when you decide to see your future clearly and take full ownership of becoming the person who lives in it. That decision changes everything. That vision is your foundation. Build from it every day. Chapter 3. Set daily goals that match your true values. You cannot build a meaningful life with vague intentions. No matter how inspired you feel, if you don't take that energy and convert it into clear, daily actions, you will stay in the same place. Success is not built on what you want someday. It's built on what you do every single day. And the most powerful way to structure your days is to set daily goals that reflect your true values. Not what looks good, not what sounds impressive, but what deeply matters to you. Too many people set goals based on pressure, comparison, or fear. They chase money because they're afraid of being left behind. They pursue status because they want to prove something. They fill their schedules with tasks that have nothing to do with who they want to be. This leads to burnout, frustration, and a quiet emptiness that never fully goes away. You can avoid that by choosing goals that are rooted in your values, not your ego, not your insecurities, not other people's expectations. Values are not wishes. They're standards. They are the invisible rules you live by, even when it's hard. If you value growth, then learning and self-discipline must show up in your day. If you value family, then presence and communication must be part of your actions. If you value health, then movement and nutrition must be reflected in your choices. There is no value without proof. You either live by it or you don't. That's why your goals must align with your values, not just sometimes, but every day. Start each morning with clarity. Don't rush into the day blindly. Take a few quiet minutes and ask yourself, what matters most today? Not what's urgent, not what others expect, but what truly matters in the direction of who you want to become. Write it down. Keep it simple. One goal for your health. One for your growth. One for your relationships. These small, clear targets will keep your mind focused and your energy directed toward what matters. Your daily goals don't need to be complicated. In fact, the simpler they are, the more powerful they become. The goal isn't to impress anyone, it's to align yourself. It's to train your brain to act intentionally, not react emotionally. It's to build self-respect through follow-through. When you set a goal and keep your word, you become stronger. You begin to trust yourself. You create a feedback loop of success, clarity, action, confidence, momentum. Your values should filter your priorities. If you have 10 things on your to-do list but only 3 of them reflect your core values, then those 3 should come first. Always, the rest can wait. You are not meant to do everything. You are meant to do what matters most. Living this way helps you avoid the trap of being constantly busy but never truly fulfilled. You become effective instead of overwhelmed. Productive, not scattered. Daily goals keep your vision alive. It's one thing to have a dream for your future, but without daily alignment, that dream fades. Goals keep it real. They turn an abstract desire into something concrete. If your vision is long-term, your goals are short-term checkpoints. Every completed goal is a step forward. Every small win is a deposit into the life you're building. This creates a sense of progress that fuels motivation even on hard days. The truth is, most people are not lazy. They're just disconnected. They don't know what they're working toward. They don't see how today's actions affect tomorrow's results. That disconnect kills motivation. But when you set daily goals that match your values, your days start to feel meaningful again. You no longer need external rewards to stay motivated. Your reward becomes the way you live. There's peace in knowing your time and energy are going somewhere worthwhile. It's also important to review your goals at the end of each day. Ask yourself, did my actions reflect my values today? Not as a way to judge yourself, but as a way to stay honest. If you say you value growth, but spent the day avoiding every challenge, that's worth noticing. If you say you value peace but overloaded your schedule, that's a sign to adjust. This reflection helps you live with integrity, and the more you live with integrity, the more aligned and fulfilled you'll feel. Some days you'll fall short. That's normal. The point is not to be perfect, it's to stay aware, to learn, to improve. Missed goals are feedback. They show you where you lost focus, where your habits need strengthening, where your environment needs changing. Don't ignore that feedback. Use it. Let it shape better days ahead. That's how growth works, through awareness and adjustment, not shame or guilt. When your goals reflect your values, your motivation becomes internal. You're no longer doing things for praise or validation. You're doing them because they match who you are. That's what gives your work power. That's what builds deep self-respect. You know you're not faking it. You're not chasing trends or copying others. You're living a life that's honest. That honesty makes you strong. It makes you grounded. You also become more resilient. When your goals come from your values, you don't quit easily. You're not doing it for applause. You're doing it because it matters. So even when progress is slow, you keep going. Even when no one sees your effort, you show up. Because it's not about attention, it's about alignment. And alignment always leads to strength, even if it's invisible at first. The way you spend your day is the way you spend your life. There is no difference. That's why your daily goals are so important. They are not just tasks. They are the evidence of your priorities. They are the building blocks of your identity. They show you and the world what you truly care about, not just in words, but in action. You don't need to wait for a new year, a better time, or a perfect plan. You can start today. You can write down 3 small goals that reflect your highest values. You can put your phone down, block out distractions, and move with purpose. You can make your actions mean something again. And when you do, you'll feel a kind of quiet power that no one can give you or take away. The people who succeed in life are not always the smartest or most talented. They're the ones who stay clear and consistent. They wake up each day and do what matters. Not once in a while, but every day. You can become one of those people. You don't need special skills. You just need discipline, clarity, and a deep commitment to your values. Let those values lead your goals. Let your goals lead your actions. And let your actions shape the life you are proud to live. If you want to change your life, don't wait for a breakthrough. Just start setting goals that reflect what you truly value. Then live them. Today, again tomorrow, and again the day after that. Over time, those small goals will turn into habits. Those habits will shape your identity, and that identity will become your future, one honest day at a time. Chapter 4. Build strong routines that support your growth daily. Your daily routine shapes the direction of your life, whether you're aware of it or not. The way you start your morning, the habits you lean on during your afternoon, and how you close out each evening all work together to create momentum or steal it away. If you want to grow into your best self, then you must become intentional about the systems that support you every single day. Growth does not happen randomly. It happens when structure meets purpose, and routines are the silent structure that guide your actions without needing constant motivation. Growth is not a single act. It is not a motivational burst or a once-in-a-while breakthrough. It is a process, repeated daily, through small decisions that compound over time. That's why routines matter. They take the pressure off of willpower. They reduce friction. They give your day a rhythm that aligns with who you are becoming. Without routines, you rely too much on mood. And when your mood is low, your actions will follow. But when you've built strong routines that support your growth, you act from commitment, not emotion. The first place to start is your morning. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. You don't need a long list of tasks. You need a few key habits that ground you. Wake up at a consistent time, even on the days you don't feel like it. Drink water to hydrate your body. Sit in silence. Stretch or write down a clear focus for the day. These may sound simple, but they are powerful because they teach your mind that you are in charge. Not the phone, not the noise, not the demands waiting for your attention. Growth requires mental clarity, and routines help clear the noise. If your day is scattered, so is your thinking. A structured routine doesn't mean rigidity. It means you've made the decision ahead of time. You don't need to guess how you'll use your energy. You've already decided. When you remove decision fatigue from your day, you save that energy for the work that really matters. You become more focused, more productive, and more emotionally steady. Your routines must reflect your goals. If you say you want to grow, then your routine should include something that challenges you mentally, physically, or emotionally. Read something that stretches your thinking. Move your body, even if it's for just 10 minutes. Reflect on how you responded to stress. If your actions aren't helping you grow, they're likely keeping you stuck. That's not always obvious in the moment, but it becomes clear over time. Every routine either supports your progress or reinforces your limits. The most powerful routines are the ones that remove resistance. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Prepare in advance. Lay out your clothes the night before. Keep your journal within arm's reach. Use alarms or calendar blocks to remind yourself. These small setups prevent excuses. They keep the path to action simple and direct. The fewer steps between you and your goal, the more likely you are to follow through. People don't fail because they lack motivation. They fail because their environment doesn't support the behavior they want to practice. Evening routines are just as important. They signal closure. They help you wind down with purpose, not distraction. Instead of scrolling through your phone until you fall asleep, create a short ritual that brings you peace. Review your day. Celebrate what you did well. Notice where you drifted. Forgive yourself. Prepare for tomorrow. Go to bed on time. Not because it's impressive, but because your body and mind need consistency. Rest is part of growth, and good routines make rest easier. If a routine doesn't work, change it. Don't cling to something just because it worked for someone else. Your routine must fit your lifestyle, your energy, and your purpose. What matters is not how fancy it looks, but how well it serves you. Be honest with yourself. If something drains you, simplify it. If something inspires you, repeat it. The key is to build a system that you can stick to consistently, not one that burns you out within a week. Discipline is not about force, it's about alignment. When your routines reflect your values and goals, they become an extension of who you are. You don't have to drag yourself to do them. They become natural, even enjoyable. This doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency, it becomes your new normal. You begin to identify as someone who takes care of their time, energy, and future. And that identity leads to a deeper kind of motivation, one that lasts. Growth also requires time alone. Make space in your routine for quiet, not just silence, but stillness. A few minutes a day where you're not consuming, reacting, or performing, just sitting with yourself, listening, thinking, breathing. That space is where clarity lives. It's where self-awareness sharpens. Without that space, life becomes a blur of tasks and noise. But when you create space to check in with yourself, you stay grounded in what matters most. You don't need to do everything at once. Start with one part of your day, maybe your morning, maybe your lunch break, maybe the last 30 minutes before bed. Build one strong habit there, make it consistent, let it stabilize, then add another. Over time, these routines will stack. They will form a foundation that is strong enough to carry your growth through chaos, stress, or doubt. You will no longer need to rebuild your progress after every disruption. You'll simply return to your structure and keep moving forward. Strong routines create freedom. They give your mind peace because they reduce decision-making. They give your emotions stability because they reduce surprises. They give your spirit strength because they remind you of your purpose. This is not about perfection, it's about progress. Even if your routine gets interrupted, you can return to it the next day. It's a system, not a sentence. A support, not a cage. Don't confuse productivity with growth. A packed schedule doesn't mean you're developing. If your routine leaves no space for reflection, learning, or alignment, then it's not helping you grow. A powerful routine is not one that exhausts you. It's one that empowers you. You should feel more focused, more present, and more confident because of how you spend your time. When your routine reflects your growth, others will notice, not because you're bragging, but because your energy changes. You become more grounded, more intentional, more reliable. People will trust your consistency, and more importantly, you'll begin to trust yourself. That trust becomes a quiet power. You know that no matter what happens around you, your day has structure. You know where to begin. You know how to get back on track. Growth isn't something you wait for. It's something you build. One day at a time, one choice at a time, one routine at a time. If you want to become your best self, then give your best self a place to live, inside your daily habits, inside your structured time, inside your quiet commitment to doing what matters most. Routines are the roots of your transformation. Build them strong, and everything else will rise with time. Chapter 5. Speak honestly to yourself and drop all excuses. ChatGPT said, "The first real breakthrough in personal growth happens when you stop lying to yourself. Not the obvious lies, but the subtle ones. The ones that sound like logic but are really just avoidance. The ones that protect your ego but sabotage your progress. You tell yourself you're too tired, but the truth is you're afraid to fail. You say you don't have time, but the truth is you're choosing comfort over growth. These quiet distortions live in the background of your thinking, and until you confront them, they'll continue to steal the life you could have lived. Honesty is the hardest place to start, but it's the only place that leads somewhere real. You don't grow by pretending everything is fine. You grow by telling yourself the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. That kind of honesty takes courage. Not the kind of courage that looks bold on the outside, but the kind that forces you to admit when you've been standing in your own way. It's the quiet decision to stop blaming circumstances and start taking ownership of every single choice. If you're always explaining your inaction with stories about why now isn't the right time, you're not being honest. You're making excuses sound sophisticated. Life will never hand you the perfect setup. There will always be something unfinished, uncertain, or inconvenient. And yet people who grow don't wait for the ideal moment. They move forward with clarity, not comfort. They look in the mirror, not to judge themselves, but to see things clearly, because clarity is what makes action possible. Excuses don't look like excuses when you've repeated them long enough. They sound reasonable, they sound safe, they protect you from trying, And in doing so, they protect you from failing, but they also protect you from becoming. That's the trade-off. Every time you defend your limitations, you're reinforcing them. Every time you justify why something can't be done, you're strengthening the belief that you are not capable, and the longer you live under that belief, the further you drift from your potential. Being honest with yourself doesn't mean being harsh. It means being accurate. You don't need to criticize yourself. You need to confront yourself. Look at your habits. Look at your distractions. Look at how often you choose what's easy over what's meaningful. Look at the gap between what you say you want and what you actually do. That gap is the place where growth begins. Not through judgment, but through responsibility. Not through shame, but through awareness. A lot of people say they want change, but they're still negotiating with their excuses. They're still hoping success will arrive without sacrifice. But anything worth having requires effort, consistency, and self-honesty. There's no shortcut around that. There's no hack for self-respect. You earn it by doing the things you know are right, even when they're inconvenient. And that begins when you stop giving yourself a way out every time things get hard. Excuses thrive in confusion. The less clear you are about your priorities, the easier it is to delay action. That's why honesty matters. It forces you to simplify. It forces you to choose. When you're honest, you stop multitasking goals that conflict. You stop pretending you can stay the same and still end up different. You stop expecting results from actions you're not willing to take. That clarity stings at first, but over time, it liberates you, because it removes the weight of pretending. Pretending you're too busy. Pretending you're waiting for a sign. Pretending you're being patient when really, you're avoiding risk. When you stop pretending, you free up the energy you used to spend maintaining the illusion. You no longer need to remember your excuses. You no longer have to defend your lack of progress. You can redirect all that energy into building something real. It's not easy, but it's freeing. The truth is, there are always going to be reasons to wait, to hesitate, to protect yourself, but those reasons lose their grip the moment you decide to live in truth. When you accept that growth is your responsibility, not someone else's. When you stop comparing your pace to others. When you stop trying to look like you have it all together, and instead start doing the actual work it takes to become stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more intentional. You don't need motivation. You need honesty. Motivation comes and goes. Honesty stays. It tells you when you're falling short. It shows you when your time is being wasted. It reminds you of the promises you've made to yourself. It pushes you to get back up when you slip. It doesn't flatter you, but it doesn't abandon you either. That's why it's powerful, because it keeps you aligned with the version of yourself you're working to become. There's no perfect path. There's no guaranteed plan. But if you keep telling yourself the truth, and keep dropping every excuse the moment it tries to protect your comfort, you'll move forward. Slowly, then faster, messily, but surely you'll begin to see changes not just in your results, but in your character. You'll trust yourself more. You'll need fewer external validations. You'll realize that self-honesty is a kind of strength that no one can give you and no one can take away. Progress doesn't come from pretending you're committed. It comes from actually showing up, again and again, whether you feel like it or not. When you stop lying about why you didn't follow through, you take back your power. You stop blaming your schedule, your past, your lack of support. You stop thinking in circles. You start acting with clarity, and little by little, that becomes your edge. Not talent, not luck, but truth and follow through. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be fearless. You don't need to know everything before you begin. But you do need to tell yourself the truth. Where are you falling short? Where are you hiding? Where are you overcomplicating things so you don't have to face them? If you can answer those questions with honesty, you're already ahead of most people, because while they're looking for external answers, you're developing internal strength. Real growth demands that you let go of every excuse you've built around yourself. It requires that you drop the need to explain away your delay. It asks that you be radically honest, not so you can criticize yourself, but so you can actually move forward. It's not about shame, it's about alignment. Alignment between who you are and who you want to be. And the only bridge between those two identities is truth. The longer you delay this kind of honesty, the longer you delay your transformation. But the moment you decide to speak directly to yourself, to admit the gap, to own the delay, to drop the excuse, you change. Not in theory, in reality. Because you've stopped waiting for change to happen, you've started making it happen. And once that switch flips inside you, there's no going back, only forward. Chapter 6. Eliminate one bad habit that holds you back. If you want real change in your life, you don't always need to add something new. Sometimes, the most powerful step forward is to subtract. Not everything that's been part of your life deserves to remain there. Progress doesn't only come from learning new skills or chasing new goals. It often begins by removing what quietly sabotages you day after day. And nothing slows you down more than a single bad habit that you keep protecting because it feels familiar. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to start with one behavior that you know is keeping you stuck. Think about the things you do that you don't even question anymore. The automatic routines, the little escapes, the patterns that waste your time, drain your energy, or damage your confidence. They've been with you long enough that they now feel normal. But just because something feels normal doesn't mean it's right. Some of your habits are holding you in place even as your goals are pulling you forward, and the tension between those two forces is what creates frustration. That's why real growth begins the moment you get serious about removing what no longer serves your progress. It doesn't have to be a massive transformation overnight. In fact, that's where most people fail. They try to change everything all at once, and they burn out. But if you take one habit and decide firmly and completely that it will no longer control you, you begin a process that changes everything else by default. Because when you eliminate one destructive pattern, you make room for discipline, clarity, and progress to take root in its place. You reclaim time, mental space, and self-respect. And those things compound quickly. Maybe it's the habit of procrastinating, telling yourself you'll start tomorrow, or next week, or after things settle down. But they never really do. And deep down, you know it's not your schedule that's the problem, it's your hesitation. Or maybe it's the habit of overconsumption. Not just food or media, but information, opinions, noise. You keep feeding your mind without ever letting it digest, and all of it becomes a distraction from what you actually need to do. Or maybe it's the habit of negative self-talk. You criticize yourself in ways you'd never allow someone else to. You undermine your confidence by repeating doubts in your own mind. That voice becomes your constant background noise. It doesn't scream, but it whispers enough to keep you small. And the longer you allow it to go unchecked, the more you believe it's the truth. Whatever the habit is, the first step isn't changing it. The first step is naming it. You have to be willing to face it without justification, without saying, well, everyone does it, or it's not that bad, or it's just who I am. You can't eliminate what you keep defending. And you can't defend and transform at the same time. You have to choose, either stay loyal to your comfort or get committed to your growth. Change doesn't happen in the moment of motivation. It happens in the moment of decision. When you decide that you're no longer available to live under the control of something that doesn't align with your values, that decision doesn't always feel exciting. It feels quiet. It feels serious. It feels like an internal line being drawn. This stops now. And when that moment comes, you don't need to broadcast it. You don't need applause. You just need follow-through. Every time you interrupt the habit, you weaken its power, and that's how change begins, not through perfection, but through persistence. The first few days might feel awkward. You might slip. That's not failure. That's the process of rewiring. Because habits aren't just actions, they're patterns wired into your thinking. So when you decide to stop, you're not just resisting behavior, you're rebuilding identity. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about freeing yourself. Because the truth is, every bad habit comes with a cost. You might not see it clearly because it's spread out over time, but the cost is real. It's in the missed opportunities, the wasted hours, the lost confidence, the lowered standards. And you don't have to carry that cost any longer. You can decide that your future is more valuable than your current comfort. Don't wait until things feel perfect. If you wait until you're in the mood to change, you'll keep waiting. Momentum comes from action, not the other way around. And every time you choose to act in a way that aligns with your highest self, you prove to your mind that you are no longer under the control of the past. That proof builds confidence, and confidence builds momentum. Change doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be real. If you check your phone 100 times a day and you cut that in half, you'll be amazed at how much mental space you reclaim. If you stay up late out of habit and you decide to sleep earlier 3 days a week, you'll feel your discipline sharpen. If you stop telling yourself that you can't and start saying, "I will figure this out," you'll shift the way you face every obstacle. One habit at a time, one decision at a time. The reason most people stay stuck is because they keep tolerating behaviors that don't match their values. They try to chase success while still dragging along the very patterns that are keeping them distracted, tired, or discouraged. But success isn't just about setting big goals. It's about removing the daily behaviors that create friction against those goals. And the fewer bad habits you allow, the faster your life becomes aligned. You don't need to change everything today, but you do need to take one habit seriously. You need to make it your mission to eliminate it completely. No half effort, no loopholes, just the daily quiet commitment to do something different. The resistance will show up, but you're not here to avoid it. You're here to overcome it. And with each day that you follow through, the resistance gets weaker and your sense of control gets stronger. Eventually, you'll realize that the habit wasn't just a behavior, it was a barrier, and now that it's gone, you'll start moving faster, thinking clearer, and living more fully. You'll look back and wonder why you ever waited so long to let it go. And you'll remember that all it took was a single decision, made fully and followed through with discipline, until the old pattern lost its grip on your life. That's how transformation begins. One habit, one choice, one day at a time. Chapter 7. Learn one new skill that improves your confidence. There's something powerful about deciding to learn something new, not because someone told you to, not because it's required, but because you know it will stretch you beyond where you've been. When you dedicate yourself to building a skill that makes you stronger, sharper, and more capable, you shift the way you see yourself. You stop depending on external validation to feel good about who you are. You begin to build confidence from the inside out, real confidence that doesn't disappear in the face of challenge, rejection, or failure. This kind of confidence is earned, and the fastest way to earn it is by getting good at something that matters to you. It doesn't have to be a massive achievement. You're not trying to impress the world. You're trying to become someone you respect when you look in the mirror. That journey doesn't require perfect conditions or flawless execution. It starts the moment you pick a skill and commit to improving it consistently. One action, 1 hour, one decision at a time. Because every time you put in effort to grow in an area you once avoided, you send yourself a message. I'm not stuck. I'm capable of becoming more than I was yesterday. Learning a new skill is not about chasing a title or collecting certificates. It's about proving to yourself that your mind is still open, that your limits are not permanent, and that your identity is not fixed. You get to rewrite your story through what you choose to pursue, and that's a level of freedom most people overlook. They spend their lives boxed into old routines, convinced that they've already discovered who they are, never realizing that who they are is still being written with every new effort they make. Confidence comes from doing hard things until they're no longer hard. It comes from showing up on days when it's easier to quit. It grows every time you practice something you're not good at yet. Because the more you practice, the less your identity is tied to perfection, and the more it's tied to progress. That shift is life-changing. You no longer walk into rooms hoping you're good enough. You walk in knowing you've put in the time. You've faced the discomfort. You've earned your strength. When you first begin, it won't feel exciting. It will feel awkward. The early stages of growth always come with uncertainty. You might look at others who are ahead and think you'll never catch up. But that's not the point. You're not competing with anyone else. You're building something that belongs to you alone. And the only measurement that matters is whether you're further today than you were last week. That gap between who you were and who you're becoming is where confidence lives. Pick something that scares you a little, something you've told yourself you're not naturally good at. That's usually where the growth is hiding. Maybe it's public speaking, even if your hands shake the first few times. Maybe it's learning a language, even if the grammar confuses you. Maybe it's building something with your hands, even if you've never used a tool before. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be committed. Because commitment beats talent when it's consistent. And the people who grow the most are the ones who keep showing up after the excitement wears off. Every skill you build becomes a foundation for other skills. You start with one, but soon you notice your mind works differently. You become more curious, more focused, more disciplined, and that affects everything. It affects the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, the way you solve problems. You don't need someone else to give you permission to start. You just need to care enough about your future that you stop making excuses in the present. If your self-worth has ever felt fragile, if you've ever second-guessed yourself or backed down because you didn't feel ready, learning a new skill is how you take that power back. You train your mind to solve instead of stall. You train your emotions to face resistance instead of avoiding it. You stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as feedback. These are not small shifts. These are deep identity-level transformations that happen one choice at a time. You won't always feel motivated. That's expected. But if you tie your growth to motivation, you'll stay stuck in cycles of delay. What you need instead is routine, structure, non-negotiable time set aside to practice, study, and improve. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Even 30 focused minutes a day will compound faster than you think. But those minutes must be protected. They must matter to you, because every time you honor that commitment, you prove to yourself that your word means something. There's something deeply satisfying about doing something that once felt impossible. You remember how unsure you were at the beginning, how clumsy, how slow. But then, slowly, things change. You notice improvement, you notice strength, you notice resilience, And eventually you realize you're not the same person who started. You've become someone who can learn, adapt, and master. That realization builds quiet confidence, the kind you don't need to talk about. It shows in the way you carry yourself. You're not building skills for applause. You're building them so you can face life with more certainty, so you can meet challenges without shrinking, so you can trust your ability to figure things out, even when things are unclear. That's the kind of confidence no one can give you, and no one can take away. You earn it, and it stays with you. Confidence is not about being loud. It's about being steady. It's about knowing that you've prepared, that you've practiced, that you've faced difficulty and come through it stronger. That's the reward of learning something new. It's not just about what you can do. It's about who you become in the process. And the person you become is the one who can handle more, risk more, lead more, and live more fully. If there's something you've been putting off learning, this is your moment. Not next week. Not when life slows down. Now, decide. Start. Set the time. Stick to it. Watch yourself grow. And every time you feel resistance, remind yourself, confidence isn't a gift. It's a result, and you are capable of earning it. One skill at a time. Chapter 8. Protect your time and focus on what matters. Your time is not just a number on a clock or a page on a calendar. It is the most valuable resource you own, and once it's gone, there is no getting it back. That's why protecting it is not just a matter of productivity, it's a matter of self-respect. When you protect your time, you protect your focus, your energy, your potential, and the direction of your life. But when you allow distractions to constantly interrupt you, or when you say yes to things that don't align with your priorities, you silently give away pieces of your life to things that don't deserve it. Every day, you're either investing your time or spending it. There's a difference. Investing means using it in ways that create growth, meaning, and value. Spending means using it up with nothing meaningful to show for it. Many people go through life reacting to whatever comes at them. Messages, noise, demands, other people's urgency, without ever stopping to ask, does this actually matter to me? They confuse movement with progress. They confuse being busy with being effective, and over time they look back and wonder why they feel unfulfilled, despite always being in motion. To protect your time, you first have to get honest about what matters most to you. You can't guard something unless you know what it is. That clarity is your foundation. Once you define what truly matters, whether it's your health, your relationships, your work, your growth, you can begin to align your schedule around it. Without that clarity, you'll keep giving time to things that drain you, simply because they're loud or urgent or easy to access. You only get so many hours in a day, and not all of them are equal. Some are your peak hours, where your energy and focus are sharp. Those hours are gold. If you give them away to shallow tasks, you'll miss your best opportunity to do meaningful work. That's why guarding your peak focus hours is non-negotiable. Don't let distractions steal your sharpest mind. Don't open the door to everyone's demands just because they knock. Your calendar should reflect your values, not your guilt or your fear of saying no. Saying no is a skill that separates people who move forward from people who stay stuck. You can't say yes to growth if you're saying yes to every request. Every yes to someone else's priorities is a no to your own. You need to protect your ability to go deep, to concentrate, to work without interruption. That means setting boundaries that might make others uncomfortable. But if you're always accessible, you're never truly present. If your attention is constantly being pulled in 10 directions, you'll never make real progress in the one direction that counts. Time leaks in small ways. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, scrolling, checking, reacting, switching between tasks. These leaks may seem harmless, but over time they add up to lost years. Protecting your time isn't about being rigid. It's about being intentional. It's about knowing when to turn off the noise, when to focus deeply, when to rest, and when to move forward. This discipline doesn't limit your freedom. It creates it, because once you control your time, you begin to control your life. Focus is fragile. Every time it's broken, it takes longer than you think to return to full depth. Constant switching between tasks damages your ability to think clearly. That's why you must create time blocks where you work uninterrupted. No messages, no notifications, no multitasking, just one thing. Full attention, full engagement. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when quality rises. That's when real progress is made. People will always have opinions about how you should spend your time. Some will misunderstand your focus as selfishness. But you are not here to live by someone else's priorities. You are here to live by your own. If something doesn't serve your growth, your purpose, your future, it doesn't belong in your day. Cut ruthlessly. Simplify without guilt. Trade popularity for progress. Because the truth is, most people are too distracted to even notice you're busy building something meaningful. And that's okay. You're not doing it for applause. You're doing it for peace, for clarity, for freedom. One of the hardest parts of protecting your time is overcoming the addiction to urgency. We get a rush from reacting. We feel productive when we're answering things quickly. But reactionary living leads to shallow outcomes. If you're always responding to what's urgent, you rarely get to what's important. That's why you must pause. Step back, look at your time from a distance. Ask yourself what's actually producing value and what's just noise. The more you ask this question, the better your decisions become. You don't need a full overhaul of your life to begin protecting your time. You just need to take back control of 1 hour, one block of your day where you turn inward, focus deeply, and build something that matters. Then protect another hour, then another. Over time, you reclaim your day, you rebuild your attention, you restore your energy, and most importantly, you begin to live on purpose. There will always be temptations, entertainment, distractions, conversations that go nowhere, requests that sound important but aren't. Learn to pause before saying yes. Learn to measure the true cost of each commitment, not just the time it takes, but the mental space it occupies. Some things consume far more than the minutes on a clock. They drain your clarity, your peace, your ability to move forward. Those are the things you must let go of. You weren't given this life to waste it. You weren't born with focus. You build it. And you build it by making better decisions each day. Decide what matters. Guard it. Create space for it. Eliminate what doesn't align. This is the path to a simpler, more focused, more powerful life. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do the right things with full attention and quiet determination. What you choose to focus on becomes your reality. If you spend your days scattered, your life will feel scattered. If you give your best attention to what matters, your life will reflect that intention. It's not about having more time, it's about using the time you already have with greater wisdom. That wisdom starts when you stop letting the world set your priorities and start setting them yourself. Once you protect your time, you reclaim your direction. And once you reclaim your direction, you step into a life that's no longer driven by noise, but by purpose. Chapter 9. Say no to things that drain your energy. Every day, you're presented with choices. What to say yes to, what to engage with, what to entertain, and what to allow into your mental space. Most people assume that energy is only lost through effort, but in truth, much of it is drained by the invisible weight of unnecessary commitments, conversations, people and thoughts that offer nothing in return. Saying no is not about being cold or indifferent. It's about being honest with yourself about what uplifts you and what leaves you empty. There are people who smile to your face but secretly leave you feeling smaller. There are tasks that keep you busy but rob you of meaning. There are habits that look harmless but quietly chip away at your strength. These things don't take everything from you at once. They chip away at you piece by piece, and over time you begin to feel tired without knowing why, lost without understanding how, unmotivated without a clear reason. That's the slow effect of energy drain. It doesn't show up loudly, but it leaves a deep impact. To regain control of your energy, you need to develop the courage to say no without apology. Not because you think you're better than anyone else, but because you're finally aware of what you need to protect. And when you start protecting your energy, you also start protecting your peace, your growth, your potential, and your direction. This clarity doesn't come from being more productive. It comes from being more selective. Saying no is a skill that few master, but everyone needs. It's easy to say yes, especially when you want to be liked, included, or seen as helpful. But every yes comes with a cost. Some yeses cost you your time, others cost your attention, and the worst ones cost your spirit. If you keep agreeing to things that drain you, don't be surprised when your motivation disappears. Don't be shocked when resentment grows. You can't keep giving your energy to things that subtract from your life and expect to feel whole. The truth is, you already know what drains you. You've felt it. The conversations that go in circles, the people who only call when they need something, the meetings that accomplish nothing, the environments that suppress your voice, the habits that feel good for a moment but leave you worse afterward. You don't need more advice. You need more courage to trust your inner knowing and act on it. This isn't about avoiding hard things. Growth takes effort, but there's a difference between challenge and depletion. A challenge stretches you. It's uncomfortable, but it builds you. Depletion leaves you numb, stuck, and doubtful. If something always leaves you drained and never contributes to your life in a meaningful way, it's a sign. You don't need to fix everything. Some things simply need to be released. Letting go can feel like a loss, especially when you've been conditioned to endure, to stay loyal to familiar people or patterns, or to keep saying yes out of guilt. But not everything deserves your loyalty. Some things were meant to teach you, not keep you. If you keep holding on just to keep the peace on the outside, you'll keep losing peace on the inside, and no external approval is worth that internal cost. People might not understand your no. They might question it, they might resist it, but you're not living for their comfort. You're living for your truth. And if your truth tells you that something is taking more from you than it's giving, you owe it to yourself to step back. You don't need permission to protect your energy. You just need clarity. And once you have that, decisions become simpler, not easier, but simpler. Start small. One declined invite. One ignored text that used to lead to hours of emotional labor. One habit replaced with silence. One morning reserved for yourself instead of someone else's urgency. These shifts may seem minor, but they reclaim energy you didn't even realize you were losing. Over time, your mind feels clearer, your body feels lighter, and your motivation returns. Because now you're not leaking energy, you're directing it. Saying no isn't selfish. It's necessary. Because every no is also a yes. When you say no to what drains you, you say yes to what restores you. You say yes to deeper focus, to healthier relationships, to better choices. You say yes to becoming someone who values their life enough to filter what enters it. This isn't about perfection. It's about preservation. You cannot do your best work, become your best self, or live your fullest life if you are constantly exhausted by what you tolerate. You are allowed to outgrow what no longer fits. You are allowed to step back from people who only bring noise. You are allowed to walk away from patterns that once felt comforting but now feel limiting. And you don't owe anyone an explanation beyond your own peace of mind. You were not created to carry everything. You were created to live freely, intentionally, and meaningfully. But that kind of life requires pruning, letting go of what's dead so you can make room for what's alive. Notice how your body feels after certain interactions. That's wisdom. Pay attention to the tension that rises before you open that app, answer that call, or commit to that plan. That's your signal. Learn to listen to it. It's not weakness, it's intelligence. When you begin to honor those signals, you stop betraying yourself to please others. You stop sacrificing your clarity for comfort. You stop choosing short-term harmony over long-term well-being. Not every demand deserves your time. Not every invitation deserves a response. Not every voice needs to be heard in your head. This is your life. You get to decide what belongs in it. The world will always try to pull you in 100 directions, but you don't have to follow. You can stay rooted in what matters. You can stay focused on what builds you. You can live from a place of strength, not exhaustion. So the next time you feel pulled towards something that feels heavy, pause. Ask yourself, does this serve who I'm becoming? If the answer is no, you know what to do. And if that choice feels hard, remember this. Peace isn't found in doing everything. It's found in doing the right things. Protect your energy like your life depends on it. Because it does. Chapter 10. Do the hard work even when you feel tired. ChatGPT said. Hard work is often glorified when things are going well, but the true measure of commitment shows when exhaustion settles in. It is in those moments, when your body is heavy and your mind is foggy, that doing the hard work separates those who achieve from those who give up. Success isn't about waiting until you feel perfect or fully energized. It's about pushing forward despite fatigue, discomfort, and doubt. That discipline to continue even when you are tired is what forges resilience and builds character. Fatigue is a natural part of life. It's a signal from your body and mind that you need rest, but it doesn't always mean you must stop. Sometimes fatigue is a sign you've been pushing boundaries, stretching yourself beyond previous limits. Instead of seeing tiredness as a reason to quit, it's better to view it as evidence of progress. Those moments are the hardest because they ask you to be more than your feelings, more than your immediate wants. They require tapping into a deeper source of motivation, rooted in purpose and long-term vision. When you commit to doing the hard work while tired, you teach your mind to lead your feelings instead of being ruled by them. You train yourself to act based on your goals rather than your mood. That is the essence of discipline. It doesn't erase fatigue, but it reframes it. Instead of fatigue being an obstacle, it becomes a challenge to overcome, a test of how badly you want the outcome. Each time you choose to continue despite being tired, you build mental toughness that will serve you in all areas of life. The key is to recognize the difference between genuine need for rest and the temptation to quit prematurely. Sometimes your body demands pause, and honoring that is a form of respect and wisdom, but often fatigue is more mental than physical. It's a voice telling you to avoid discomfort or uncertainty. That voice is natural, but it's not always truthful. Pushing through that mental barrier strengthens your willpower and teaches your brain that exhaustion doesn't have to dictate your choices. It helps to break the work into smaller pieces during those low-energy moments. Instead of focusing on finishing everything at once, focus on the next right action. What is one step you can take right now? Can you write one sentence, make one call, or take 5 minutes to review a task? These small actions keep momentum alive when motivation is low. Momentum becomes the engine that drives you forward, even when energy falters. Creating rituals that support your hard work can also make a difference. When your body is tired, familiar routines give structure and safety. You don't have to think about whether to start. Your habits carry you through. For example, having a set time to work each day creates a pattern that your brain learns to expect. This reduces resistance and builds consistency. Consistency, after all, is the true force behind success, more than any burst of inspiration. It's important to acknowledge and accept that not every day will be your best. Some days will feel slow and heavy, and that's normal. What matters is not the occasional slump, but the overall direction. When you learn to keep showing up in those hard moments, you create a foundation that can't be shaken by temporary fatigue or frustration. The practice of persistence over perfection builds unstoppable momentum over time. Another critical aspect is the mindset you bring to tiredness. Instead of framing it as a punishment or failure, view it as an opportunity to prove your commitment. This subtle shift changes your inner dialogue from one of avoidance to one of challenge. You become someone who welcomes adversity, not because you enjoy it, but because you understand that growth lives on the other side of effort. Hard work done when tired is a quiet victory that accumulates over days, weeks, and months. It's useful to remind yourself why you started the work in the first place. When the weight of fatigue clouds your vision, reconnecting with your purpose reignites your inner drive. Why does this matter to you? Who will benefit from your persistence? What will happen if you stop now? These questions are not meant to shame, but to refocus your energy on what's truly important. Purpose acts like a compass during tough times, guiding your actions when feelings waver. While pushing through tiredness is crucial, it should not come at the expense of your health. Rest and recovery are essential parts of the process, not signs of weakness. The difference lies in intentional balance. Plan periods of deep work followed by deliberate rest. When you treat rest as a strategic tool, not a reward or an escape, you sustain your energy over the long haul. Learning to listen to your body while maintaining resolve is the delicate dance that supports sustainable success. Visualizing the payoff can also help maintain effort during exhaustion. Imagine the moment when your hard work pays off, when a project is completed, a skill is mastered, or a goal is reached. Hold that image vividly in your mind. Let it pull you through the fatigue. This mental rehearsal activates your motivation and primes your brain to persevere. It creates a future reward that makes the present struggle more bearable and meaningful. You might face days when the only thing you can do is show up and put in minimal effort. Even that counts. Progress doesn't have to be grand every single day. Small, consistent actions, especially on days when you feel depleted, add up exponentially. Showing up when you feel like giving up proves to yourself that your goals are bigger than your temporary feelings. It strengthens your belief in your own reliability and in the power of steady effort. Accountability can be a powerful ally in these moments. Sharing your goals with someone you respect or partnering with a fellow struggler creates a support system. When you know someone else is watching your progress, it adds an external nudge to keep going. That shared commitment also reminds you that you're not alone in facing fatigue and resistance. Everyone who achieves something significant has learned to work hard when tired. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Hard work, when tired, is a training ground for resilience. Resilience is not about avoiding difficulty, it's about growing through difficulty. Each moment you push past exhaustion, you reinforce the belief that you can withstand discomfort. You build muscle in your mind that protects you from giving up when life inevitably becomes harder. This mental toughness spills over into every area of life: relationships, challenges, health, and dreams. The more you embrace hard work despite tiredness, the more you realize that energy is a renewable resource. It's not a fixed bucket that empties until nothing is left. Your effort generates its own energy through accomplishment, momentum, and confidence. Action feeds motivation, not the other way around. The paradox is that sometimes the hardest thing is to start, but once you begin, the fatigue lessens and focus sharpens. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment to work hard. The perfect moment rarely arrives. What you need is to cultivate discipline that thrives in imperfection. This discipline grows when you consistently choose effort over ease, purpose over procrastination, and persistence over pause. The habits you build today in managing your tiredness will become your foundation for all future success. Hard work in fatigue is the secret ingredient to becoming your best self. It teaches you that your limits are flexible, your will is stronger than you think, and your dreams deserve the price of discomfort. Each time you choose action over inaction despite exhaustion, you reclaim your power. That choice defines the difference between someone who hopes for success and someone who creates it. Keep moving forward, keep doing the hard work. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 11. Ask for help and build powerful connections today. Asking for help is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness, but in reality, it is one of the strongest actions you can take toward personal growth and success. No one achieves greatness entirely on their own. Behind every accomplishment lies a network of support, guidance, and shared wisdom. When you open yourself to assistance, you're not showing vulnerability, you're demonstrating wisdom and courage. Recognizing that you don't have to carry the weight alone frees you reach higher and move faster. Building powerful connections is not about collecting contacts or having a long list of acquaintances. It's about cultivating genuine relationships rooted in trust, mutual respect, and shared values. These connections become a source of inspiration, challenge, and support. They offer fresh perspectives when you're stuck, encouragement when you're down, and accountability when you stray. The strength of your network often determines the speed and quality of your growth. Many hesitate to ask for help because of pride, fear of rejection, or the belief that they must handle everything by themselves. This mindset limits potential and creates unnecessary struggle. Accepting support doesn't diminish your abilities, it multiplies them. When you reach out, you tap into knowledge and experience beyond your own. You gain access to resources that can accelerate your progress. Help is not a handout, it's a partnership where both parties grow. Knowing when and how to ask for help is a skill that can transform your life. It begins with clarity about what you need. When you can articulate your challenges or goals clearly, others are more likely to respond effectively. Vague requests often lead to vague responses. Take the time to understand where you need support, whether it's advice, practical assistance, or emotional encouragement. This precision creates meaningful interactions and builds trust. Listening is just as important as asking. When you invite others to share their insights, you open yourself to learning. Powerful connections thrive on mutual exchange. Give as much as you receive, share your knowledge, encourage others, and celebrate their successes. Relationships that are balanced and reciprocal become sources of long-term strength and resilience. Isolation breeds stagnation. Connection breeds growth. Building connections requires intentionality. It's not enough to wait passively for the right people to appear. You must take initiative to meet, engage, and nurture relationships. Attend gatherings that align with your goals. Participate in communities where your values are shared, and reach out to those who inspire you. Authenticity is your best tool here. People respond to sincerity far more than to polished pitches or superficial networking. Vulnerability plays a key role in connection. When you share your struggles, doubts, or questions openly, you invite others to do the same. This creates a bond that goes beyond surface level. It allows for deeper understanding and trust. Showing your humanity is not a weakness. It is a bridge to meaningful relationships that support your best self. When you build a powerful network, you also build a safety net. Life is unpredictable, and challenges will come. Having a community of support cushions the impact and provides solutions you may not have found alone. This network becomes a place of encouragement when motivation falters and a source of inspiration when direction is unclear. It reminds you that you are not alone on your journey. Accountability is another benefit of asking for help and building connections. When others know your goals and progress, you are less likely to give up when obstacles arise. Accountability partners provide honest feedback and push you beyond your comfort zone. They celebrate your wins and challenge your excuses. This dynamic holds you to a higher standard and speeds up your transformation. It's important to approach help with gratitude and respect. Recognize that others are investing their time and energy in you. Express appreciation for their support and look for ways to reciprocate. Gratitude deepens relationships and creates a positive cycle of giving and receiving. People are more willing to help when they feel valued and respected. Sometimes asking for help means overcoming fear of judgment or rejection. These fears are natural but often unfounded. Most people want to help but don't know how unless you invite them. Taking that first step breaks the barrier and opens the door to opportunities. If the first person you ask can't assist, try someone else. Persistence in seeking help shows determination and resourcefulness. Digital tools have made it easier than ever to connect with others worldwide. Use these tools to join forums, attend virtual events, or connect with mentors. However, meaningful connections still require face-to-face interactions, whether in person or through video calls. Prioritize quality interactions over quantity. Deep conversations build stronger bonds than frequent superficial contacts. Building connections also means being selective. Not every relationship will serve your growth, and that's okay. Focus on those who inspire, challenge, and support your journey toward becoming your best self. Distance yourself from relationships that drain or distract you. Your network should be a source of strength, not stress. Regularly invest time in nurturing your relationships. Check in with your contacts, offer help when they need it, and celebrate milestones together. Relationships are living things that grow with care. Neglect leads to decay. Consistency in connection builds trust and loyalty over time. Remember that help is not a sign of failure but a strategy for success. Asking for help builds humility and confidence simultaneously. It shows that you are committed to growth and willing to learn. This mindset attracts others who are similarly dedicated, creating a powerful community that propels you forward. Your journey toward becoming your best self will be smoother and richer with support. Collaboration brings creativity, encouragement, and resilience. No one is meant to walk the path alone. Embrace, help, and build connections intentionally and authentically. These relationships will be your anchors during storms and your fuel during triumphs. Each day offers a new chance to reach out, to listen, and to connect. Make the choice today to ask for help when you need it, and to invest in relationships that matter. This is not just about personal success, but about creating a network of shared strength and inspiration that uplifts everyone involved. The power to transform your life lies not only within you, but also in the connections you build and the support you accept. Chapter 12. Challenge your beliefs and upgrade your thinking now. ChatGPT said, "Beliefs shape how you see the world, how you interpret events, and ultimately how you act. They are the lens through which every experience is filtered. Often, these beliefs develop early in life or are formed from repeated patterns that may no longer serve you. To become your best self, it is crucial to question and challenge these deeply held convictions, because your current thinking may be the invisible barrier blocking your growth. Changing the way you think creates new possibilities, expands your potential, and opens doors that once seemed closed. Many beliefs operate below the surface without conscious awareness. They influence your decisions, your self-worth, and how you handle challenges. Some beliefs empower you, while others limit or distort your reality. It's easy to assume your beliefs are facts, but beliefs are subjective and often outdated. Holding on to limiting beliefs is like wearing glasses with smudged lenses. You don't see clearly, and your vision is blurred. Cleaning or upgrading your lenses lets you perceive the world more accurately and respond more effectively. The process of challenging your beliefs begins with awareness. Take note of thoughts that consistently hold you back or evoke negative emotions. Ask yourself where those beliefs came from and if they are objectively true. For example, if you believe I am not capable of learning new things, question the evidence. Have you ever succeeded in learning before? Are there examples that contradict this belief? By examining beliefs critically, you can uncover which are rooted in fear, misinformation, or past disappointments rather than reality. Upgrading your thinking involves replacing outdated or harmful beliefs with empowering ones. This doesn't happen overnight, but requires intention and practice. Start by identifying a belief that limits you and consciously choosing a new, more helpful belief to adopt. For instance, swap "I'm not good enough" with "I am learning and growing every day." Repeating this new belief regularly, especially when doubts arise, rewires your brain over time. The mind responds to what it focuses on, so feed it thoughts that serve your highest goals. It's important to embrace curiosity rather than defensiveness when confronting your beliefs. People often cling tightly to their views because they fear uncertainty or change, but growth thrives on exploration and open-mindedness. Consider new perspectives, read widely, and engage in conversations that challenge your existing views. When you expose yourself to different ideas, you expand your mental horizon and build intellectual flexibility, which is a cornerstone of personal growth. A critical part of upgrading your thinking is learning to question assumptions, including those about yourself and your abilities. Just because something feels true doesn't mean it is. Assumptions can be traps that keep you stuck. Practice pausing before accepting a thought as fact. Ask yourself, is this belief helping me move forward or holding me back? This simple habit fosters self-awareness and slows the automatic acceptance of limiting ideas. Growth requires discomfort because challenging beliefs shakes the foundation of what feels familiar. It can trigger fear, resistance, and doubt. Accepting discomfort as part of the process helps you stay grounded and committed. Instead of avoiding difficult questions, lean into them. These moments are invitations to deepen your understanding and evolve your mindset. The discomfort of growth is temporary, but the benefits last a lifetime. One of the most powerful ways to upgrade your thinking is through deliberate learning. Seek out mentors, books, courses, or experiences that expand your knowledge and perspective. Exposure to new information fuels mental transformation. Learning challenges your brain to form new neural pathways, making old limiting beliefs less dominant. The more you feed your mind with growth-oriented material, the more naturally your thinking aligns with your goals. It is essential to separate your identity from your beliefs. You are not your thoughts or the stories you tell yourself. Recognizing this separation allows you to experiment with new ways of thinking without feeling threatened. You can hold a belief lightly and be willing to change it. This flexibility is the hallmark of wisdom and maturity. When you stop identifying rigidly with limiting beliefs, you create space for new possibilities. Journaling is a practical tool for challenging and upgrading your thinking. Writing down your beliefs, fears, and doubts brings clarity and objectivity. It helps you track progress as you replace old beliefs with new ones. Reviewing your journal over time reveals patterns and breakthroughs. This practice fosters accountability and continuous improvement, allowing you to catch yourself when slipping back into old thinking. Mindfulness also supports this process by creating awareness of your internal dialogue. When you notice a negative or limiting belief arise, acknowledge it without judgment. Then consciously shift your focus to a constructive belief or question. This mental pause interrupts automatic reactions and strengthens your ability to choose empowering thoughts. Over time, mindfulness builds mental resilience and rewires your brain for positivity and growth. Surrounding yourself with supportive people who challenge you intellectually and emotionally accelerates your mindset upgrade. Engaging with those who embody the beliefs you want to adopt creates a powerful environment for transformation. Their perspectives, feedback, and example become a catalyst for your own change. Conversely, distancing from toxic or stagnant influences prevents reinforcement of limiting beliefs. Consistency is key in this journey. Changing beliefs is not a one-time event, but a lifelong practice. Old beliefs will resurface, and doubts will arise. Meeting them with curiosity, patience, and persistence builds new mental habits. Celebrate small victories when you notice a positive shift in thinking. These moments build confidence and deepen your commitment to self-improvement. Ultimately, challenging your beliefs is about reclaiming your power. It shifts you from being a passive recipient of inherited ideas to an active creator of your mental landscape. This empowerment transforms how you approach challenges, setbacks, and opportunities. It opens pathways to creativity, courage, and greater fulfillment. Your mind becomes a tool for growth rather than a cage. By upgrading your thinking now, you set the foundation for continuous personal evolution. The beliefs you choose to hold will shape your future experiences. Selecting beliefs that support resilience, optimism, and self-worth leads to better decisions and richer life outcomes. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your life. Invest in your mental framework as you would your physical health. It is the blueprint for becoming your best self. Start today by identifying one limiting belief and applying these strategies to transform it. Notice the impact this shift has on your actions and feelings. Carry this practice forward as a daily commitment. The moment you decide to challenge your beliefs is the moment you begin unlocking your true potential. The path to success starts in the mind, and by upgrading your thinking, you empower yourself to live fully and freely. Chapter 13. Track your actions and adjust what's not working. ChatGPT said, "Tracking your actions is the foundation of meaningful progress. Without a clear understanding of what you do every day, it is impossible to know if your efforts are moving you toward your goals or merely keeping you busy." Many people assume that effort alone guarantees success, but effort without reflection often leads to frustration and burnout. Monitoring your actions brings clarity and insight, revealing patterns that can either support or sabotage your growth. When you commit to tracking honestly, you empower yourself to make informed decisions and adjust effectively. At its core, tracking is about awareness. When you record your activities, habits, and choices, you create a detailed map of where your time and energy go. This map highlights what produces results and what wastes resources. The truth is often surprising because many of our daily actions operate on autopilot. We repeat routines without questioning their value. Writing down your actions breaks this cycle. It forces you to confront reality rather than relying on vague impressions. Journals, apps, or simple spreadsheets can serve as tools to log your daily efforts. The method is less important than consistency and honesty. Tracking is not meant to be a chore, but a source of empowerment. When you see your progress clearly, motivation increases. Tracking also helps in identifying triggers for negative behaviors or distractions. You begin to understand what times, environments, or emotions lead you away from your goals. This insight allows you to preemptively manage challenges. Once you have gathered data on your actions, the next step is evaluation. Ask yourself which actions directly contribute to your goals and which do not. Some activities may feel productive but yield little real progress. This process reveals where to focus your energy for maximum impact. It also shows what can be eliminated, delegated, or postponed. Prioritization becomes easier when you see the difference between urgent tasks and important ones. Adjustment is the key to improvement. Tracking alone is not enough. You must use the information to change course. This requires flexibility and humility. Sometimes the strategies you believed would work do not deliver expected results. Instead of stubbornly continuing, a successful person is willing to pivot. Adjustments might involve changing your schedule, adopting new habits, or seeking new resources. The willingness to adapt separates those who stagnate from those who thrive. Regular reviews of your tracked actions are vital. Set aside time weekly or monthly to reflect on your progress. These reviews are moments to celebrate achievements, analyze setbacks, and plan next steps. Reflection deepens learning and reinforces commitment. It also helps you reconnect with your vision and values, ensuring that your daily actions remain aligned with your true purpose. Accountability enhances the power of tracking and adjustment. Sharing your progress with a mentor, coach, or trusted friend increases your likelihood of follow-through. Accountability partners provide external feedback, encouragement, and sometimes tough love. They help you see blind spots and hold you responsible for commitments. This social dimension adds motivation and discipline to your journey. Tracking actions can extend beyond productivity into emotional and mental habits. Notice how your mood, mindset, and energy fluctuate with different activities. Some actions may energize you while others drain you. Understanding these patterns supports better self-care and balance. When you track emotional responses alongside tasks, you gain a holistic view of your well-being and performance. It is important to keep tracking realistic and sustainable. Overly complex systems can lead to overwhelm and abandonment. Choose a method that fits your lifestyle and preferences. The goal is progress, not perfection. Small, consistent efforts at monitoring your actions yield better long-term results than sporadic, intense tracking. Tracking also uncovers opportunities for growth. When you notice consistent gaps or weaknesses, it signals areas for skill development or mindset shifts. Adjustments might include learning new techniques, seeking feedback, or changing your environment. This proactive stance keeps you moving forward rather than reacting to problems after they become crises. Patience is essential in this process. Improvements rarely happen overnight. Tracking and adjusting is a continuous cycle of experimentation and learning. Setbacks are natural and expected. Instead of discouragement, use them as data points that guide your next moves. Over time, these incremental changes accumulate into significant transformation. Celebrating progress, no matter how small, reinforces positive behavior and sustains momentum. Recognizing improvements boosts confidence and encourages persistence. When you track your actions, take time to acknowledge victory. This positive reinforcement creates a cycle of motivation that fuels continued effort. Tracking your actions creates a feedback loop that strengthens self-awareness and intentionality. You shift from passive habit to active design of your life. Every decision becomes informed by clear evidence of what works. This conscious approach replaces randomness with strategy. You become the architect of your growth rather than a bystander. Using data from your tracking also supports better time management. When you see where your hours disappear, you can reorganize your schedule to focus on high-value activities. This clarity prevents wasting precious time on distractions or low-priority tasks. You learn to say no to what does not serve your goals and yes to what advances them. Incorporating tracking into your daily routine builds discipline. The act of recording requires presence and commitment. Over time, this habit spills over into other areas of life, fostering greater control and mindfulness. You become more intentional with your actions and less reactive to circumstances. In summary, tracking your actions and adjusting what's not working is a powerful strategy for personal growth. It brings honesty, clarity, and control to your journey. By observing what you do and making informed changes, you avoid wasted effort and accelerate progress. This practice empowers you to stay aligned with your vision and values while adapting to reality. Tracking transforms effort into effective action and dreams into achievable outcomes. It is an essential tool on the path to becoming your best self. Chapter 14. Practice self-discipline in small ways every day. ChatGPT said, "Self-discipline is often seen as a grand, overwhelming concept reserved for major life changes, but it truly thrives in the small, consistent actions repeated every day. It is the quiet force that shapes character, determines success, and builds resilience over time. Practicing self-discipline daily, even in seemingly minor ways, creates a foundation for achieving bigger goals and sustaining growth. Discipline is less about rare moments of willpower and more about the steady commitment to making choices aligned with your values. Every day presents countless opportunities to exercise self-control. These small decisions accumulate, shaping habits and defining your identity. It could be choosing to wake up 5 minutes earlier, resisting a distraction, or completing a task before giving in to procrastination. Each act reinforces your ability to stay focused and maintain integrity with yourself. Over time, these small wins compound into greater confidence and self-mastery. Starting with manageable challenges is key. Attempting drastic changes all at once can lead to frustration and burnout. Instead, identify simple areas where you can exercise control, like drinking an extra glass of water, organizing your workspace, or avoiding unnecessary screen time. These small disciplines teach you that your choices matter and that you can follow through even when motivation wanes. Building self-discipline requires consistency more than intensity. It's the daily repetition that cements habits and rewires your brain. Making disciplined choices when it feels easy strengthens the mental muscles needed to persist during tougher moments. Every time you honor your commitment, you reinforce a positive feedback loop that makes future discipline easier. Recognizing triggers that challenge your discipline is essential. Stress, fatigue, and boredom often weaken resolve. Preparing in advance for these moments by having strategies ready can help. For example, if you know that after work you tend to slack off, plan a short productive activity to bridge the transition. Awareness of your patterns allows you to build defenses and avoid automatic lapses. Accountability supports daily discipline significantly. Sharing your intentions with someone you trust or tracking progress publicly increases your commitment. Knowing that others expect consistency encourages you to uphold your promises to yourself. It also adds encouragement and support, which are invaluable during moments of temptation. Self-discipline is deeply connected to purpose. When your actions align with meaningful goals, discipline feels less like a chore and more like a natural choice. Clarifying why a task matters increases your intrinsic motivation. Linking small disciplined actions to your larger vision fuels perseverance. This connection helps you push through discomfort and maintain focus. Practicing self-discipline also involves managing your environment. Remove temptations or distractions that undermine your efforts. Arrange your space to make the disciplined choice the easiest one. For instance, if you want to read more, keep books accessible and devices out of reach during reading time. Small adjustments to your surroundings remove friction and support sustained effort. It is normal to face setbacks or lapses. Self-discipline is not perfection, but persistence. When you falter, avoid harsh judgment or giving up entirely. Instead, acknowledge the slip and recommit immediately. Every moment is an opportunity to choose again. This mindset keeps momentum alive and prevents small failures from derailing your progress. Mental clarity enhances self-discipline. Practices like meditation or mindful breathing improve focus and reduce impulsivity. Training your mind to stay present strengthens control over impulses and reactions. This inner calm allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than act on fleeting desires. Rewarding yourself thoughtfully reinforces disciplined behavior. Positive reinforcement builds motivation and associates effort with satisfaction. Choose rewards that support your goals rather than contradict them. Celebrating progress, even in small ways, nurtures a sustainable discipline practice. Long-term discipline creates freedom. Paradoxically, by imposing structure on daily life, you gain control over your time, energy, and choices. This freedom allows you to pursue passions, deepen relationships, and face challenges with confidence. Self-discipline is a tool for empowerment rather than restriction. Patience is a vital companion to discipline. Growth unfolds gradually through repeated effort. Resist the urge for immediate results or dramatic transformation. Steady, small disciplined actions build a resilient foundation that sustains success. Trusting the process keeps you anchored during slow progress. Visualizing the benefits of discipline strengthens commitment. Imagine the pride, satisfaction, and opportunities that come from consistent effort. Use this mental image to fuel your daily choices, especially when temptation arises. Keeping the rewards in mind increases resolve. Self-discipline develops your character. It teaches responsibility, humility, and perseverance. These qualities extend beyond personal success and enrich your relationships and contribution to others. Discipline shapes who you are, not just what you accomplish. Practicing discipline daily also sharpens decision-making. Each time you choose focus over distraction, you train your mind to evaluate options clearly and act decisively. This skill translates into all areas of life, improving your ability to navigate complexity. Incorporate self-discipline in varied areas to create balance. Physical health, emotional well-being, work, and relationships all benefit from consistent effort. Diversifying your focus prevents burnout and fosters holistic growth. Remember that discipline is a form of self-respect. It honors your goals, values, and potential. When you choose discipline, you declare that your future matters more than momentary comfort. This powerful attitude shifts your identity towards success and fulfillment. Developing self-discipline is a journey, not a destination. Each day offers new challenges and opportunities to practice. Embrace the process with kindness toward yourself and commitment to your growth. Small disciplined actions shape your life's trajectory. Each choice builds momentum and confidence. Over time, these consistent efforts create a powerful force that propels you toward becoming your best self. The practice of self-discipline is the cornerstone of lasting change and meaningful achievement. Chapter 15. Forgive yourself quickly and move forward strong. Forgiving yourself quickly is one of the most powerful acts you can practice to maintain momentum and build inner strength. Holding on to guilt, regret, or self-blame drains energy and clouds judgment. When mistakes happen, the fastest path to recovery is acceptance paired with compassion toward yourself. Self-forgiveness is not about ignoring responsibility, but freeing yourself from the heavy burden that prevents growth. By releasing harsh self-judgment promptly, you create space for learning and progress. Everyone makes errors, sometimes serious ones, but these moments do not define your worth or future. What matters most is how you respond after the setback. Lingering in self-criticism keeps you stuck in the past. Forgiveness acts as a reset button, allowing you to refocus on the present and your goals. It is an essential skill for resilience, because setbacks are inevitable on any meaningful journey. The speed and grace with which you forgive yourself influence how quickly you regain strength and clarity. The first step towards self-forgiveness is acknowledging your mistake honestly, without minimizing or exaggerating it. Take ownership of your actions and their consequences. This honest appraisal builds integrity and prevents denial or avoidance, which can prolong pain. Accepting reality is freeing, because it moves you out of wishful thinking into practical awareness. It also lays the groundwork for corrective actions. Compassion toward yourself follows acceptance. Treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a dear friend in a similar situation. Recognize that being human means being imperfect. Harsh self-punishment rarely motivates change and often fosters deeper discouragement. Gentle understanding encourages learning and builds emotional strength. When you forgive yourself quickly, you send a message that you deserve care and respect despite flaws. Reflection is a crucial part of this process, but must be balanced. It's important to extract lessons without obsessing over mistakes. Ask yourself what you can do differently moving forward and what triggered the error. Use this insight to make a concrete plan for improvement. Reflection grounded in action prevents repeated patterns and turns setbacks into stepping stones. Releasing the past means letting go of toxic emotions tied to the mistake. Resentment, shame, or regret consume mental energy that could be better invested in growth. Practicing mindfulness helps you observe these feelings without attachment, allowing them to pass. Breathing exercises or meditation can calm the mind and provide clarity. The goal is to reclaim emotional balance and avoid being held hostage by negative self-talk. Forgiving yourself quickly does not imply forgetting important lessons. Instead, it separates your identity from your errors. You are more than your mistakes. This separation is vital because it prevents a fixed, negative self-image from taking root. It encourages a growth mindset that views challenges as opportunities to evolve rather than evidence of failure. Moving forward strong means acting decisively after forgiveness. Once you have released guilt, focus your energy on the next steps. Commitment to change is a declaration of self-respect and empowerment. It shifts your attention from what went wrong to what can go right. Taking action reinforces new beliefs and builds confidence that you can overcome obstacles. Accountability supports this forward motion. Share your intentions with a trusted person who can offer encouragement and honest feedback. External support creates motivation and holds you responsible for maintaining progress. It also prevents isolation, which can deepen negative emotions and hinder recovery. Self-forgiveness is a continuous practice, not a one-time event. Each time you stumble, applying this process strengthens your resilience. It trains your mind to respond to setbacks with grace, rather than despair. Over time, this builds a mental toughness that sustains you through challenges and fuels long-term success. Recognize that perfection is an illusion and mistakes are inevitable. Striving for flawless performance can lead to harsh self-judgment and fear of failure. Embracing imperfection frees you to take risks and learn boldly. When you forgive yourself quickly, you embrace your humanity and invite growth through experience. The speed of forgiveness impacts your emotional health. Prolonged self-condemnation increases stress, anxiety, and even physical illness. Prompt self-forgiveness reduces these risks by promoting emotional release and psychological well-being. It fosters a positive internal environment conducive to creativity, focus, and motivation. Cultivating forgiveness also deepens self-awareness. It requires honest self-examination and emotional regulation. This process sharpens your ability to recognize patterns, triggers, and inner dialogue. Increased self-awareness is a cornerstone of personal development and empowers you to make better choices. In moments of self-judgment, consciously replace harsh thoughts with affirming statements. Remind yourself that mistakes are part of learning and that you deserve patience and understanding. Positive self-talk reprograms your mind and reinforces a compassionate attitude toward yourself. Setting boundaries with your inner critic is necessary. While constructive self-criticism can guide improvement, relentless negativity damages self-esteem. When critical thoughts arise, observe them without attachment and redirect your focus to progress and strengths. This mental discipline protects your motivation and sense of worth. Forgiveness fuels emotional freedom. When you let go of self-imposed chains, you reclaim joy, peace, and purpose. This freedom allows you to engage fully with life and pursue your goals without the weight of past errors. It transforms setbacks from obstacles into catalysts for growth. Practicing gratitude alongside forgiveness amplifies its power. Appreciating your efforts and progress, despite imperfections, nurtures optimism and resilience. Gratitude shifts your focus from scarcity and failure to abundance and possibility. This mindset energizes your journey and strengthens commitment. Remember that forgiving yourself quickly is an act of courage. It requires vulnerability and strength to face mistakes honestly and release judgment. This courage builds character and deepens your relationship with yourself. It fosters self-trust, which is essential for sustained growth. Moving forward strong means integrating lessons into your identity. You become someone who learns, adapts, and perseveres. This self-definition anchors you through life's uncertainties and challenges. It creates a foundation for confidence and purposeful action. In summary, forgiving yourself quickly and moving forward strong is a vital practice for anyone seeking lasting success and fulfillment. It breaks the cycle of guilt and stagnation, freeing you to grow and achieve. By embracing compassion, reflection, and decisive action, you transform setbacks into powerful opportunities. This practice nurtures resilience, self-respect, and emotional freedom, the pillars of becoming your best self. Chapter 16. Stand up for your needs without feeling guilty. Standing up for your needs without feeling guilty is a fundamental step toward living authentically and maintaining your well-being. Many people struggle with expressing their true desires or boundaries because they fear disappointing others or being perceived as selfish. This hesitation often leads to resentment, burnout, and a gradual loss of self-respect. Understanding that your needs are valid and deserving of attention is essential for personal growth and healthy relationships. Claiming your space in the world does not diminish others, rather it strengthens your ability to engage fully and honestly with life. The first key to standing up for your needs is recognizing what those needs truly are. Self-awareness allows you to identify areas where you feel drained, unfulfilled, or compromised. It might be emotional support, time for rest, clear boundaries in work or personal life, or simply the freedom to pursue your passions. Clarity about your needs equips you with the confidence to communicate them effectively. Without this understanding, requests may feel vague or undeserved, fueling guilt. It is important to acknowledge that meeting your needs is not a favor to yourself, but a necessity for your health and happiness. Neglecting your well-being leads to diminished capacity, making it harder to contribute meaningfully to others and your goals. When you care for yourself first, you create a foundation of strength and balance. This foundation enables you to offer genuine support to those around you without sacrificing your integrity. Communicating your needs clearly and assertively requires practice and courage. Use simple, direct language that expresses your desires without apology or justification. For example, saying, "I need some time to recharge this evening," respects your boundaries without inviting debate. Assertiveness is not about aggression or entitlement, but about honest expression and mutual respect. This approach fosters healthy dialogue and prevents misunderstandings. Guilt often arises from internalized beliefs or social conditioning that equate self-care with selfishness. Challenging these narratives is critical. Remind yourself that your needs are as important as anyone else's. Healthy relationships thrive on mutual respect and balance, not on one-sided sacrifice. When you stand up for yourself, you model respect and set standards that encourage others to do the same. Managing guilt also involves separating responsibility for others' reactions from your right to express needs. You cannot control how someone responds, but you can control how you communicate. Being authentic may sometimes cause discomfort in others, but this discomfort is not your burden to carry. Respectful honesty is a gift to relationships because it builds trust and clarity. Practicing self-compassion reduces the sting of guilt. Treat yourself with kindness when you face internal resistance or external pushback. Understand that asserting needs is a process, and discomfort is part of growth. Each step you take in standing up for yourself strengthens your inner voice and resilience. Setting boundaries is a practical way to protect your needs. Boundaries define what is acceptable and what is not in interactions and commitments. They prevent overextension and preserve your energy. Clear boundaries, communicated calmly, help others understand your limits and foster mutual respect. Boundaries are acts of self-care, not barriers to connection. Building confidence in standing up for your needs grows from repeated practice. Start with small requests or boundary setting in low-stakes situations. Celebrate your successes and learn from challenges. Over time, expressing your needs becomes a natural part of your communication style. This confidence spills over into all areas of life, enhancing your sense of agency. It is helpful to reframe standing up for your needs as a contribution rather than a demand. When you honor yourself, you show others how to do the same. This positive example elevates the quality of your relationships and community. Your strength invites others to respect and support you more deeply. Listening to your body and emotions guides you in identifying unmet needs. Physical sensations such as tension, fatigue, or restlessness signal when something requires attention. Emotions like frustration, sadness, or anxiety often indicate boundaries being crossed. Responding to these signals promptly maintains balance and prevents burnout. Choosing your battles wisely is another important skill. Not every situation requires asserting your needs strongly. Evaluate the importance and potential impact before engaging. Sometimes compromise or patience is appropriate. This discernment preserves your energy for matters that truly affect your well-being and goals. Seeking support when standing up for yourself can provide encouragement and perspective. Trusted friends, mentors, or coaches can help you prepare and reflect. They offer validation and advice that bolster your resolve. You do not have to navigate this process alone. Practice also involves accepting that not everyone will agree or respect your needs immediately. Some resistance or misunderstanding is natural. Maintain your commitment calmly and respectfully. Persistence combined with patience gradually shifts dynamics toward healthier interactions. Remember that standing up for your needs is an ongoing journey, not a one-time event. Life's demands change, and your awareness of needs deepens over time. Regular check-ins with yourself ensure that you continue honoring what truly matters. This ongoing attention nurtures self-trust and authenticity. This practice has profound effects beyond personal well-being. When you model healthy self-advocacy, you contribute to a culture of respect and empowerment. Your example encourages others to value themselves and communicate openly. This ripple effect fosters stronger communities and relationships. In summary, standing up for your needs without feeling guilty is a vital skill for personal growth and fulfillment. It begins with self-awareness and acceptance of your inherent worth. Clear, assertive communication combined with compassion for yourself and others creates healthy boundaries. Managing guilt involves challenging limiting beliefs and separating others' reactions from your responsibility. Confidence grows through practice, support, and patience. This courage to claim your needs nurtures resilience, authenticity, and deeper connections. Embracing this practice empowers you to live fully and lead with integrity. Chapter 17. Speak your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable. Speaking your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable, is an act of courage that honors your authentic self and fosters genuine connections. Avoiding uncomfortable truths often leads to resentment, confusion, and a loss of personal power. Expressing your real thoughts and feelings creates clarity for both yourself and others. It allows you to live with integrity, aligning your actions with your values and beliefs. Though challenging, this practice builds inner strength and deepens respect in relationships. The first step in speaking your truth is developing a clear understanding of what it means for you. It involves identifying your core values, feelings, and convictions without distortion or suppression. This self-awareness provides a solid foundation to express yourself honestly. When you know who you are and what matters, your voice becomes steadier and more confident, even in difficult moments. Fear often blocks truthful expression. Fear of judgment, rejection, or conflict can silence your voice. Recognizing this fear without letting it control you is crucial. Courage is not the absence of fear, but acting despite it. You strengthen your bravery by focusing on the value of honesty over the discomfort of potential negative reactions. Communicating your truth requires balance between honesty and respect. Speaking authentically does not mean being harsh or dismissive. It means sharing your perspective clearly and kindly, considering the other person's feelings without sacrificing your message. Using I statements centers your experience and avoids blame. For example, I feel overwhelmed when deadlines shift unexpectedly. This approach invites understanding rather than defensiveness. Timing and context matter when speaking your truth. Choose moments when both you and your listener can engage openly. Avoid situations charged with tension or distraction. Thoughtful timing increases the likelihood that your message will be heard and appreciated. Preparation can help you gather your thoughts and calm nerves before difficult conversations. Practice builds confidence in truthful communication. Start with small situations where the stakes feel lower. Gradually, as you experience positive outcomes, your trust in your voice grows. Celebrate each instance of honesty regardless of the outcome. Over time, speaking your truth becomes a habit that strengthens your self-respect and clarity. Listening is an important counterpart to speaking your truth. When others respond, listen with openness and curiosity rather than defensiveness. This reciprocal exchange deepens connection and encourages mutual honesty. It also teaches you to navigate differing opinions while maintaining your integrity. Embrace discomfort as a sign of growth. Speaking your truth often disrupts the status quo and challenges comfort zones. This tension is natural and signals meaningful progress. Over time, the discomfort lessens as honesty becomes your default mode of interaction. This transformation brings freedom and alignment. Dealing with negative reactions is part of the process. Not everyone will welcome your truth, and some may react with anger or dismissal. Understand that these responses reflect their own fears or limitations, not your worth. Maintain your calm and boundaries and avoid escalating conflict. Sometimes, simply standing firm in your truth without argument is the most powerful statement. Self-trust grows when you consistently speak honestly. Each truthful conversation reinforces your belief in your own voice and judgment. This trust empowers you to face challenges with resilience and authenticity. It becomes easier to navigate uncertainty and complex emotions. Speaking your truth enhances mental clarity. When you express your feelings and opinions openly, you reduce internal conflict and confusion. This clarity improves decision-making and emotional well-being. Silence or deception creates mental clutter that drains energy and focus. Vulnerability is a vital aspect of speaking your truth. Sharing honestly requires openness and willingness to be seen fully. This vulnerability fosters genuine connection and empathy. It creates space for others to be authentic as well, deepening relationships and trust. Recognize the power of your words. Speaking truth impacts not only your life, but also influences others positively. Your honesty can inspire courage and authenticity in those around you. It contributes to building environments based on trust and respect. Develop strategies for calm expression. When emotions run high, grounding techniques such as deep breathing or pausing before speaking can help maintain composure. Clear, calm delivery ensures your message is received more effectively and reduces misunderstandings. Avoid perfectionism in speaking your truth. You do not need to articulate everything flawlessly. The intention and sincerity behind your words matter more than polished delivery. Authenticity shines through even in imperfect expression. Reflect on your motivations before speaking. Ensure that your truth is shared to create understanding and growth, rather than to hurt or manipulate. When your intention is constructive, your message carries greater weight and is more likely to be received positively. Balance honesty with discretion. Not every truth requires immediate or full disclosure. Use judgment to decide what and how much to share based on the situation and relationship. Thoughtful discretion protects relationships while maintaining your integrity. Encourage others to speak their truth by modeling openness and respect. Creating safe spaces for honest dialogue strengthens bonds and promotes mutual growth. Your example invites others to be courageous in their communication. Maintain resilience through self-care after difficult conversations. Honest expression can be emotionally taxing. Engage in activities that restore your energy and nurture your well-being. This care sustains your ability to continue speaking your truth consistently. In essence, speaking your truth, even when it feels uncomfortable, is a practice that demands courage, clarity, and compassion. It aligns you with your authentic self, nurtures meaningful connections, and fosters personal growth. Embracing honesty transforms challenges into opportunities for empowerment and deeper understanding. This commitment to authenticity shapes a life of integrity, confidence, and fulfillment. Chapter 18. Celebrate small wins and keep building momentum. ChatGPT said, "Celebrating small wins is a powerful strategy that fuels continuous progress and keeps motivation alive. Often, people focus only on major achievements and overlook the many small steps that lead to meaningful change. Recognizing and appreciating these moments cultivates a positive mindset and reinforces the behaviors that drive success. Each small victory is proof that effort produces results, and that growth is happening even when the finish line seems far away. This consistent acknowledgement builds momentum and makes the journey sustainable. Start by redefining what success means in your daily life. Instead of waiting for big breakthroughs, notice the smaller accomplishments that reflect progress. These could be completing a difficult task, choosing a healthier habit, or simply showing up with commitment. Valuing these moments shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. It encourages you to see growth in all its forms, no matter the size. Acknowledging small wins strengthens your confidence. When you celebrate progress, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of improvement. This positive reinforcement energizes you to keep going even when challenges arise. Confidence grows from consistent evidence of your effort and success. Without this regular boost, motivation can wane and doubt may creep in. The way you celebrate small wins matters. It should be meaningful and aligned with what truly motivates you. For some, this might be sharing the achievement with a supportive friend or mentor who can cheer you on. Others may find satisfaction in journaling the success and reflecting on the effort it took. Simple rewards like taking a break, enjoying a favorite activity, or practicing gratitude can also honor your progress. Tailoring celebration to your preferences makes it more impactful. Small wins also provide valuable feedback. Each success reveals what strategies and habits work best for you. By recognizing these effective actions, you can replicate and build upon them. Tracking these moments offers insight into your growth patterns and helps identify areas needing adjustment. This ongoing learning supports continuous refinement and improvement. Momentum builds when small wins accumulate. Every victory adds energy and forward motion to your journey. This dynamic creates a positive cycle where success inspires effort, which leads to more success. Momentum is crucial because it helps overcome obstacles and maintains engagement. When you feel progress, even incremental, you are more likely to persevere. Celebrate progress honestly and without exaggeration. Authentic recognition prevents setting unrealistic expectations and fosters genuine motivation. It also builds trust between you and yourself. Being truthful about what you have achieved, no matter how modest, maintains a grounded and sustainable growth mindset. Avoid the trap of perfectionism by embracing imperfection in your wins. Every step forward is valuable, even if it is not perfect or complete. Recognizing progress despite imperfections encourages resilience and persistence. This attitude helps you stay committed when setbacks occur or when results seem slow. Sharing your small wins with others can amplify their impact. Social support and encouragement create a reinforcing environment that sustains motivation. When you communicate your achievements, you invite celebration and positive energy. This connection also inspires others and strengthens your community. Develop rituals around celebrating small wins. Rituals create a consistent practice that honors your progress and solidifies habits. It might be a daily reflection, a weekly review, or a personal reward system. Rituals embed celebration into your routine, making it automatic and reliable. Gratitude enhances the experience of celebrating small wins. Recognizing what you are thankful for shifts focus from lack to fulfillment. Gratitude fosters emotional well-being and appreciation for your journey. It complements celebration by deepening your sense of satisfaction and joy. Mindfulness supports awareness of small wins. Paying close attention to your actions and feelings helps you catch progress that might otherwise go unnoticed. Mindful observation strengthens connection with your growth and enhances the quality of celebration. It anchors you in the present moment and reinforces positive habits. Celebrate effort as much as outcome. Acknowledge the dedication, courage, and persistence you demonstrate daily. Valuing effort nurtures motivation and self-compassion. It reminds you that growth is a process, and that your commitment matters profoundly. Use small wins to counter negative self-talk. When doubts or criticism arise, recall your recent successes as evidence of your capability. This practice builds resilience and keeps you focused on progress rather than setbacks. It strengthens your inner dialogue with encouragement and optimism. Balance celebration with continued focus on goals. While honoring achievements, maintain clarity about your larger vision and next steps. This balance prevents complacency and keeps your drive alive. Celebrate as a milestone, not a finish line. Recognize that building momentum through small wins transforms your identity. Each success reinforces the belief that you are a person who grows, learns, and perseveres. This evolving self-image supports ongoing development and courage to face challenges. Small wins can reshape your relationship with failure. Viewing minor setbacks as part of progress reduces fear and increases willingness to try. Celebration of wins amidst challenges promotes a growth mindset and emotional flexibility. Practice sharing your wins authentically. Avoid exaggeration or comparison, focusing on your unique journey. Authenticity deepens satisfaction and fosters meaningful connections. Reflect regularly on your progress to appreciate the cumulative effect of small wins. Reviewing your journey highlights growth and builds motivation. It also identifies patterns that enhance your effectiveness. Celebrate consistently, not just occasionally. Regular acknowledgement maintains momentum and reinforces habits. Consistency creates a rhythm that integrates celebration naturally into your life. Remember that small wins have a ripple effect beyond your personal growth. They influence your environment by inspiring others and creating positive energy. Your progress contributes to a larger culture of encouragement and empowerment. In conclusion, celebrating small wins and keeping momentum alive is essential for sustainable success. It transforms how you perceive growth, fuels confidence, and builds resilience. By honoring every step forward with authenticity, gratitude, and intention, you create a powerful engine for continuous improvement. This practice turns everyday efforts into lasting achievements and nurtures a fulfilling journey toward becoming your best self. Chapter 19. Reflect deeply on your actions every single night. ChatGPT said, "Taking time each night to reflect deeply on your actions is a powerful habit that cultivates self-awareness and continuous growth. This practice allows you to pause, review, and learn from your daily experiences. It moves you beyond living on autopilot and encourages conscious living. Reflection offers clarity on what worked, what didn't, and where adjustments are needed. Engaging with your actions honestly builds wisdom and equips you to make better choices tomorrow. The process of nightly reflection starts with creating a quiet moment for yourself without distractions. This intentional pause signals your mind to slow down and focus inward. A calm environment helps you connect with your thoughts and feelings more clearly. When you dedicate time consistently, reflection becomes a trusted ritual that nurtures insight and understanding. During reflection, consider your intentions behind each action. Did your behavior align with your values and goals? Recognizing the reasons for your choices strengthens your ability to act purposefully. It deepens your understanding of yourself as an agent of change rather than a passive observer. This awareness empowers you to take ownership of your journey. Assess the outcomes of your actions with honesty. Celebrate successes and acknowledge progress without minimizing achievements. Positive reinforcement boosts confidence and motivation. At the same time, identify areas where results fell short or where you missed opportunities. Avoid harsh judgment. Instead, view these moments as valuable lessons that illuminate the path forward. Explore the emotions connected to your actions. How did your choices make you feel? Emotional reflection reveals hidden motivations and reactions that influence behavior. Understanding these feelings allows you to address underlying patterns and respond more skillfully in the future. It fosters emotional intelligence and resilience. Consider external influences on your decisions. Were there pressures, distractions, or challenges that affected your performance? Recognizing these factors clarifies what is within your control and what requires adaptation. This discernment prevents unnecessary self-blame and encourages strategic adjustments. Write down your reflections to enhance clarity and retention. Journaling organizes your thoughts and creates a record of your growth over time. Reviewing previous entries offers perspective and reinforces learning. Writing also provides a safe space for honesty, helping you express insights without censorship. Ask yourself key questions each night. What did I do well today? Where could I improve? What did I learn about myself? What actions will I take differently tomorrow? These prompts guide reflection and promote actionable conclusions. They transform passive review into active planning. Reflection strengthens decision-making skills. As you analyze your daily choices, you develop sharper judgment and foresight. This growth leads to more intentional behavior aligned with your highest values. It reduces reactive or impulsive actions that derail progress. Incorporate gratitude into your reflection. Recognizing positive experiences and supportive people enriches your perspective. Gratitude balances critique with appreciation and nurtures a positive mindset. This combination encourages resilience and optimism. Recognize patterns in your actions. Repeated successes or struggles reveal habits that shape your life. Awareness of these patterns enables targeted improvement. It helps you build on strengths and address weaknesses systematically. Reflection fosters humility and openness. Accepting imperfections and challenges with kindness encourages growth rather than defensiveness. It builds a mindset that views setbacks as opportunities rather than failures. This openness accelerates learning and adaptability. Use reflection to align daily behavior with your long-term vision. Checking in with yourself regularly ensures your actions contribute to your overarching goals. This alignment enhances coherence and purpose in your life. It reduces wasted energy on distractions or misaligned pursuits. Reflection promotes self-discipline. Knowing you will review your day motivates consistent effort and accountability. It discourages complacency and encourages follow-through on commitments. This accountability strengthens your resolve and progress. Practice mindfulness during reflection to deepen presence and awareness. Being fully engaged with your thoughts and feelings enhances the quality of insights. Mindfulness helps you observe without judgment, increasing clarity and emotional balance. Reflection supports mental health. Processing experiences thoughtfully reduces stress and prevents emotional buildup. It creates space for healing and renewal. This practice enhances overall well-being and supports sustainable growth. Share insights from reflection with trusted individuals when appropriate. Discussing your observations encourages feedback and support. It builds connection and accountability. Sharing also enriches your understanding through different perspectives. Be patient with yourself during reflection. Growth is a gradual process that requires kindness and persistence. Avoid rushing through your review or expecting immediate perfection. Allow space for gradual awareness and incremental change. Experiment with different reflection techniques. Some find guided questions helpful. Others prefer free writing or meditation. Find methods that resonate with you and keep the practice engaging. Variety can deepen insight and prevent routine fatigue. Commit to nightly reflection as a sacred time for self-care and development. Treat this moment with respect and priority. Consistency turns reflection into a powerful habit that transforms your life over time. Ultimately, reflecting deeply on your actions every night cultivates wisdom, intentionality, and emotional balance. It transforms daily experience into learning and growth. This habit empowers you to live with greater clarity and purpose. Through regular reflection, you build a foundation for continuous improvement and become the architect of your own transformation. Chapter 20. Keep showing up and never stop improving yourself. Consistency is the foundation on which lasting change is built. Showing up every day, regardless of mood, energy, or external circumstances, distinguishes those who progress steadily from those who falter. Improvement is not a one-time event, but a lifelong journey requiring patience, resilience, and dedication. Each moment you commit to your growth accumulates, forming a powerful momentum that carries you through challenges and propels you toward your best self. The choice to keep showing up means embracing effort, even when immediate results are unseen. Growth often unfolds gradually beneath the surface, making persistence essential. When motivation wanes, discipline takes the lead. Discipline is the commitment to action beyond fleeting feelings or distractions. This unwavering presence builds habits that transform your potential into reality. Every time you face resistance but continue, you reinforce mental toughness. This resilience strengthens your ability to handle future setbacks with grace and determination. Showing up despite difficulty deepens your confidence and trust in your own capacity. It shifts your identity toward that of a reliable and dedicated individual who does not quit. Continuous improvement requires openness to change and learning. Each day presents new lessons and opportunities to refine your skills and mindset. Committing to lifelong learning keeps your growth dynamic and adaptable. It prevents stagnation and invites curiosity and exploration. When you view improvement as ongoing, you remain engaged and energized. Taking small, consistent steps rather than overwhelming leaps sustains progress. Focus on manageable actions that fit within your daily life. This approach prevents burnout and creates a sense of achievement. Over time, these small actions compound, leading to significant transformation. Consistency in small efforts often beats sporadic bursts of intense work. Showing up also means embracing discomfort as part of growth. Change challenges familiar patterns and pushes you beyond comfort zones. Leaning into this discomfort teaches courage and flexibility. Each moment you endure uncertainty or difficulty with resolve expands your capacity and deepens your strength. Self-compassion supports consistent effort. Recognize that setbacks and slow days are natural parts of the process. Avoid harsh self-judgment that undermines motivation. Treat yourself kindly while maintaining accountability. Balance patience with a commitment to keep moving forward. Develop routines that support your daily presence. Rituals anchor your commitment and reduce reliance on motivation alone. Morning habits, focused work sessions, and evening reflections create structure that sustains effort. Consistent routines make showing up automatic rather than optional. Track your progress to maintain awareness and celebrate growth. Recording achievements and challenges reinforces commitment and reveals patterns. This visibility fuels motivation and guides adjustments. When you see evidence of your efforts, it becomes easier to keep going. Surround yourself with supportive influences that encourage your presence and improvement. Community, mentors, and accountability partners provide encouragement, perspective, and constructive feedback. Positive relationships reinforce your dedication and offer strength during tough moments. Set clear intentions for each day to anchor your focus. Knowing why you show up clarifies priorities and energizes your actions. Intentions connect daily efforts to your broader vision and values. This connection gives meaning to routine tasks and sustains engagement. Embrace flexibility while maintaining commitment. Life's unpredictability requires adapting plans without losing sight of your goals. Showing up does not mean rigid perfection, but persistent return after disruption. Flexibility combined with persistence forms a resilient approach to growth. Celebrate consistency itself as a powerful achievement. Recognize the courage it takes to face each day with purpose. Appreciating your dedication builds confidence and joy. This positive reinforcement strengthens your identity as someone who never gives up. Practice mindfulness to deepen your presence in each moment. Fully engaging with your tasks and experiences enhances quality and satisfaction. Mindful showing up transforms routine activities into meaningful practice. It cultivates awareness and reduces distraction. Reflect regularly on your commitment and progress. Honest self-assessment refines your approach and renews motivation. Reflection identifies what supports your presence and what hinders it. This insight empowers you to sustain and enhance your effort. Accept that improvement is a lifelong endeavor without a final destination. This perspective frees you from pressure to be perfect and invites curiosity. Seeing yourself as a work in progress nurtures humility and enthusiasm. It opens space for continuous discovery and growth. Use setbacks as invitations to deepen your commitment. Challenges test your resolve, but also clarify what matters most. Responding to obstacles with renewed effort builds strength and wisdom. Each return after difficulty reaffirms your dedication to improvement. Balance ambition with gratitude for your current self. Acknowledge your progress while pursuing growth. This balance prevents burnout and fosters contentment alongside aspiration. Gratitude energizes and sustains your journey. Avoid comparing your path to others. Focus on your unique process and pace. Comparison often breeds discouragement and distraction. Concentrating on your progress nurtures confidence and authenticity. Invest time and energy in activities that align with your growth goals. Prioritize tasks and habits that contribute meaningfully to your improvement. Eliminating distractions and low-value pursuits preserves resources for consistent showing up. Visualize the benefits of persistent effort. Imagine the strength, skills, and fulfillment that emerge from steady commitment. Visualization enhances motivation and clarity. It keeps you connected to your deeper purpose. Cultivate a mindset that values effort and process over immediate outcomes. This orientation builds patience and reduces frustration. It encourages a joyful approach to learning and growth. Remain humble and curious about your potential. Recognize that no matter how far you go, there is always room to grow. This humility fuels lifelong learning and openness. Anchor your identity in being someone who shows up. When challenges arise, remind yourself of this truth. Your identity is a powerful driver of behavior. Owning it reinforces persistence and self-respect. Trust the cumulative power of daily presence. Understand that small actions consistently performed lead to remarkable transformation. This trust sustains you through slow or difficult phases. In moments of doubt, recall past experiences where persistence paid off. Let these memories inspire renewed commitment. Your history is proof that showing up works. Commit to continual reflection and adjustment to optimize your path. Regularly evaluate what practices best support your showing up and improvement. Adapt your approach as needed to remain effective. Develop patience with your journey and its timing. Growth unfolds on its own schedule. Accepting this timing reduces frustration and promotes peace. Ultimately, the practice of showing up daily and never stopping your improvement creates a life of integrity, purpose, and fulfillment. It empowers you to become your best self steadily and reliably. By embracing consistency, resilience, and openness to learning, you forge a path that leads to lasting success and deep satisfaction.